And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask for our guest tonight. RACE22 Radio, coming live at the top of the hour. I want to give a quick shout out to our friend and supporter of RACE22 Radio, Mr. DMB Dope from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Be sure and check him out on SoundCloud and give him a follow on Instagram. That's DMB Dope. We appreciate him providing all the fresh mixes for RACE22 Radio and RACE22 Podcast. Check him out on SoundCloud and give him a follow on Instagram. That's DMB Dope. Everybody, thank you for clicking on RACE22 Radio. We'll be going live at the top of the hour. So go ahead, join in the conversation. Let us know you're there. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask for our guest tonight. RACE22 Radio, coming live at the top of the hour.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports.
RACE22 Radio!
Crank him up. Fired up. Fired up. Crank it up. Crank it up. Fired up. Okay, we got time for this.
It's time for another edition of RACE22 Radio. In-depth coverage of all your favorite late model stock car racing action from all perspectives.
You want answers!
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
RACE22 Radio is hosted by Race22.com founder, Mr. Langley Austin.
All they need to do is delete the late model stock cars from that rule book, and that will help start fixing things right there. I mean, that's all we got to do. Just
So in
delete
the
that.
NASCAR rule book, it's delete the pages and just say refer to car stores.
Exactly. That's all they got to do. That's all they got to do.
Race 22 Radio is co-hosted by Performance Center Racing Warehouse President, Mr. Roger Johnson.
You're the guy for this, in my opinion. You know, we don't. I mean, name me anybody else that's doing it.
Well, appreciate
right. Well, it doesn't mean you're good. I'm just saying.
With special co-host, Crazy Corey Latham. Sit back, buckle in, and hold on tight. Race 22 Radio is coming right at you at full throttle. And now your host, Mr. Langley Austin.
All right, guys, we're here. Race 22 Radio, live from Performance Center Racing Warehouse. You know, it's amazing. We've sat here for like 3 hours, and we're still not ready when it comes time to turn the mics on. So, or I should say, I'm not ready. I think everybody else was ready.
I think so too.
I mean, I guess that's
Just you.
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Pretty normal. Standard game.
I mean, it's just my deal here. Hopefully we're live on Facebook, and everybody can hear us. And I believe we're live on YouTube tonight, so that's a first for us. Hopefully it's working. It looks like there's 2 people watching down there.
Branching out.
That's 2 more to add to the collection over here. So,
oh boy,
you got
first time, long time.
Yeah,
there you go.
Gotta love it here. So Jeff Elliott says he's working on finding the best lobster prices for me. We're gonna have to find that for somebody else. I don't eat seafood.
I do. Keep digging.
Yeah, keep digging for Roger, because God knows his wife will make that for him.
She will.
That's for sure. This man, he spends a lot of time on prime rib and lobster.
Listen, she's amazing. She's a great cook.
Well, I mean, you know, it's good to have it that way. My wife doesn't cook.
Trust me, it is. It's good to have it that way.
My wife can bake, but she can't cook. So.
Wow. She might stab you here.
Saying.
She's here in studio, just so everybody knows.
Yeah. She's got a microphone. I mean, it's about 4.5 miles from her face, so she really couldn't
Well,
talk to
that's
us
because
if
she was
wanted
pulling the blade out of her purse. She was getting ready to shake you in the neck with.
Right. You want to say hi to everybody, Kim?
Hello, everybody.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot better
That
voice
is way
than Corey. I can go ahead and tell you that.
Gosh almighty.
Jesus.
That was good stuff right there.
Jesus. If y'all were wondering, we don't have like no set, you know. We have a few things that we're going to talk about, but like we don't have a lot of topics. We don't have a guest here tonight. So you guys watching at home or in your shop or whatever, if you got something that you want us to talk about, hey, knock yourself out and
different night too.
Different night, Thursday night.
Try some things.
I don't think people are quite used to seeing us on Thursday night, even though Kathy Rice came on with us on that one Thursday night, but that was a special deal. This week I'll be honest with you, I had some design work that I had to get done. They were hounding me pretty hard. Of course, I mean, when you procrastinate for 4 weeks and don't even start on it, that happens. So
you do that.
I do that. Yeah,
that's okay.
I do. But I got that mostly knocked out of the way and ready to go.
Go where? Where are you ready to go?
Well, hopefully to a race this weekend. I'm not really sure.
I don't know.
Man, I'm tired of the rain.
It's a typical spring, though, right?
Well, and it's in that cycle right now where it's on the weekends.
Right. Right.
So, which really
don't
sucks.
look at tomorrow's forecast.
You can just look in here.
Yeah.
You can just look in here.
Tomorrow's rough. Yeah, you can tell that there hadn't been a lot of racing going on because there's nobody's car in
Jacob
here to be
Heffer's
working.
car's done over there,
Yep.
Other than that, not much.
Yeah, we got Akinori's car over here.
Yep, it's finished.
He was in here working today. I'll tell you that's one good thing about that dude, man. He sweeps up. I mean, I think he swept up the radio show and everything.
That's
today,
awesome,
so.
yeah. Akinori cleans up.
He's a good dude for sure. So, Leland Honeyman's chiming in.
Oh, here we go.
He said that said that they're headed to South Boston on Saturday to race out there. Need some help. So if you want to volunteer to be on a crew, Or maybe he pays. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But,
Hit old Leland Honeyman up.
Yeah, hit him up. He
could use a little help. That's great. I like that he reached out on here for help. That's awesome.
Hey,
great move.
There'll be plenty of people reading this either right now or later. Of course, the live numbers on here. When you can watch it on the website. It's a little variance there. But
there's a bunch of different platforms that people can get
Right.
to it through, right? So some of the numbers are a little bit misleading, but that's great.
For sure.
Maybe somebody, if you can reach out, you're looking to reach out, hit Leland up, see what you can do for him.
That's right. Alex Miller wants to know. We'll dive into this a little bit right here already before we get to the news. Doc's over here primed and ready.
No, man, I'm good.
I'm trying to hold him back over here.
No, you're good, man.
He's like a.
Don't you just let it go?
Let's not go there.
What?
Just let it go.
Say it.
Just let it go.
Nothing. Alex Miller wants to know if there's any word on when the new 5-star Camaro body will be legal in late model stock. Well, I can go ahead and tell you when it'll be. Is when the first racetrack says, "Hey, we're going to let you run." That's when that's going to happen. So, I don't expect it to happen, sooner than that, or come straight from NASCAR.
And both you guys expect that to happen before a sanctioning body says good, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I think people don't understand. There's some things that need to be done yet.
Right. Well, first off, they got to make that body for a late model stock car, which they have not.
Correct. Well, there's some. No, they have some of them now. You can purchase it.
I don't believe for a late model stock.
Yes.
You sure about that?
I'm getting one in the morning. So yes.
There you
So
go.
here's my next problem, though. The problem is that it hasn't been approved because they haven't done the wind tunnel testing on it, and I know that for a fact. Because 5-star called looking for a car, and I think Forrest ended up providing them a car or setting them up in some way, but there will be wind tunnel testing before any of it can go approved because they have to have a baseline, which they have never done apparently, or have done in some way not meeting the criteria of today.
Yeah.
That was what I was told.
Wind tunnel. Yeah.
That's what they said.
Hey, Honeyman said he's got $100 bills in his wallet. He does pay, so maybe we want to sign up for this gig. I'm not sure.
Honeyman making it rain here.
He came to the right place for this. If you're going to start throwing out $100 bills,
that's awesome. Honeyman's the man.
I'm sure we'll find you crew members now. Other teams have lost their crew members for this weekend.
That was a great move. Right
now
there,
people
really.
don't pay attention to us, and now paying attention to us.
Right, business guy.
Yeah,
dropped it out there.
Alex Miller said,
it's a shame nobody listens.
Said that the body's are ready. So apparently,
I'm picking one up in the morning. I hope they're ready. If not, the customer that paid is going to be annoyed.
Well, what is that customer doing with it?
Bowman Gray.
But yeah. But is that an ABC? Because I know some of the Bowman Gray guys have an ABC version of the body.
I don't. He gave me the part numbers. I don't think it was an ABC, but it was a part number that I had never sold before. So I called them, and they're boxing it up for me. Yeah. So I'll get to see it with my own eyes for the first time tomorrow.
Alex said that Shamu's already been to the wind tunnel with it. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, before it gets approved, they're going to set a baseline.
Right.
They have to. They're not going to approve it without allowing them, and then AR is going to have a chance to bring their own car and do wind tunnel testing with the same thing before any of it gets approved. That you can pretty much trust. It's approved, but not approved.
Well,
that's what they said, right?
Right. Sure. Yeah, that's so like everything with NASCAR, it's a little convoluted.
I would probably say, yeah.
Right.
All
right. Well, let's let Doc talk for a minute, just so he can get it out of the way.
He's dying.
He is jacked up over here.
He's turned Kim's mic off 3 times already. He's twitching so bad.
For real, man.
Race 22 Radio. Hello, everyone. This is your Action News reporter with all the news that is news across the nation. On the scene at the local racetrack, there seems to have been some disturbance here. Pardon me, sir. Did you see what happened? Yeah, I did. I stand over by the hoser tires, and here it come, running through the inspection line. Didn't have nothing on but his horns. Headed down pit road, naked as a jaybird. I hollered over at Redhead. I said, "Don't look, Redhead." And it's too late. She'd already been lapped.
Here comes.
Boogie that, boogie that.
There you go.
Boogie that.
How about that? Debuting a new news open. You like it, boys?
I hope it's the last time.
if you guys don't hear Doc here next week, just imagine we
already got his replacement.
No, that's right. We had artistic differences with Doc. I don't know what happened.
At least that one was funny. I mean,
That was good.
You didn't like the
unlike
Heidi
your
Ho.
jokes.
You didn't like the Heidi Ho neighbor or
No.
Heidi Ho motorhead. So I thought I'll just do a new one.
it wasn't like a DUI joke or anything.
Right, that nobody got.
No, apparently not. But you like that one. That was a little bit of
All right, give us a news.
Let's not get carried away. No,
for
Right. You're killing
Dale
me.
Waltrip and everybody. Where'd you get that boogity boogity? All these young folks they don't know. Man, that was from that song right there. So
Okay.
all right, can you move on with the
Now,
news?
now we lost the two
Somebody's-
people that were listening.
Yeah, we had two people listening and they left.
well, as we talked about, lots of rain last weekend got in the way of some of our racing action. Ace Speedway rained out. Wake County rained out. I know they're prepping for next weekend, not this Friday, not tomorrow, but they're looking to get their race on next week. Anderson Speedway did get their race in. John Gallman, they had 9 cars. It was a limited late model race.
Right.
They did get their race in. Kingsport, 12 cars strong. Any surprises in Victory Lane?
No.
Of course, Chris was your winner in the late model stocks at Kingsport. Great racing out
Did he
that way.
dominate
It's
that
all
race?
I'm not really sure.
I don't know. Either.
And then where we at? Dillon Motor Speedway. Ben Stanton, 14 cars strong, $1,200 to win. That's not too shabby. $1,200 to win.
If you got to spend $675 on tires, is it
Yeah, I don't know.
Do they
I think
have?
they do too, tires.
Yeah, they do 2
Okay.
tires. I was wondering.
400 then?
Yeah.
Greenville Pickens Speedway, limited late model. Taylor Satterfield. They had 11 cars. 11 cars strong there at the Greenville Pickens Speedway. Hickory Motor Speedway succumbed to rain. They had twin 40s, so both of those, of course, rained out. The Big Ten rain out, so they won't be racing this weekend. We'll get into that a little bit later. Shenandoah Speedway got the race on. Mark Cook, last year's champion, 2018 champion, was the winner. I think they had 5 or 6 cars. Late model stock car winner there. Orange County, they got called out by rain. The PRA 602 Tour, Southeast Limited Late Model, they canceled with the rain in the area. Carteret got to race on Sunday. It rained them out Saturday, and they got to race on Sunday. Stacy Puryear came home the winner. He was victorious at Carteret, and Andy got a chance to chat with him there at Victory Lane. So let's see what Stacy says. He was happy
Thank
to
you
be
a whole
there.
lot. I really appreciate it. Man, and what a great race today, between me and Chris. And just tried to ride and save my tires the first 35 laps. And, TJ was running real good. And, we just got together a little bit with the 7 car down here that knocked your toe off the last little bit. But, the 7 car was strong there at the end. And, just so thankful to get this win. Got to thank Solid Rock Carriers. Got to thank Jimmy Morin and Bill Minshew and my stepson Caleb and my wife Melissa. Man, it feels really good to get a victory. We've been running this Cars Tour this year, and man, it's just so competitive. And we just very thankful. We love this racetrack.
There you go. That's Stacy Puryear. You can tell he got pretty emotional in it. I don't care if it's 6 cars or 16 cars in there. Every victory counts, and you can tell he got pretty emotional, man. He's still glad to get her done.
It sounded like he was standing in the center of a tornado.
I was going to say a little bit of wind action there.
Well, it was pretty windy Sunday everywhere, I think.
That was awesome. I like hearing from you, right? Like, that was good stuff.
Brandon Clements finished second, said maybe he didn't have the best car late in the run, but he was happy to finish second.
No, it's just good hard racing. We definitely didn't have a second place car. Just had to get up on the wheel and make something happen.
Chose that outside line there on that final restart.
Yeah, I was surprised nobody went there, but good job to Stacy, good job to Chris and TJ. It was fun, good racing. I'm sure the fans that were here enjoyed it.
You seemed a little frustrated with the penalty there, or not the penalty, the call on that jumped restart in the warning.
No, I wasn't really worried about the restart. I was just worried about my man driving through the door, getting in the corner. But it all turned out good, and everybody keep on going.
There you go. That's he finished second. Chris Burns won earlier this year. His car was great early, but felt like the handling went away late in the race.
Yeah, we did at the start, I think, but it was really good for the first 35 laps or so. And after that caution, I don't know if shot gave out or spring gave out or something, but it wouldn't turn in a 40-acre field. So
it still seemed like on the long runs there, your car was much faster than everyone else there. You were running and got around Purrier when that caution came out simultaneously. So you were definitely good on the long runs.
Yeah, it was pretty good at that moment. But, man, like I said, after that caution come out, it really, I know a lot of people are having problems in the center, but it wouldn't turn. It was chattering right in front. So we got an issue that will get squared away.
And thank you to Andy Marquis for providing the audio there for us. That was the top 3. And they did get to race in Thursday at Langley Speedway, the Grassroots 200.
Good stuff there. Getting ready to happen.
Yes, sir. Let's take a look at the top 5. Let's go top 5. C.E. Edwards finished 3rd. Josh Berry finished 2nd, was racing hard there towards the end. And Peyton Sellers was your winner. And one of our earlier guests this year on the show, Thomas Scott, boy, he had a good race going. He had some contact with Philip Morris, and my man on pit road was going to check it out there. What's it? Buck Roos. Yep. Buck Roos does a great job there on pit road. There, they have the shows on Fan Choice, so they have a booth announcer. And then he does the pit road, does a great job, and was covering the action, describing what was going on with the car with Thomas Scott after that contact. I don't think they were going to interview Thomas, but he made sure he was heard.
These guys. I know exactly what happened out there, man, but I got to race against Philip Morris the rest of the year. What goes around comes around.
He ain't happy. So I did see on social media where that wreck was going to take him out for several weeks. So he's going to try to get his other car fixed in.
For parts.
Did he? Yeah. So I hated to see him have fall out for several weeks. But boy, I tell you, when he comes back, that's going to be some excitement there. Something to keep your eye on.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, and Peyton Sellers in Victory Lane. Appreciate Buck Roos with the audio from Fan Choice. So here's Peyton Sellers in Victory Lane.
First of all, to God be the glory. Man, it's amazing right there. These races are so hard to win, and we beat the best in the business here tonight. Josh Berry, he's got his game on right now. Those JR Motorsports guys, they're tough. Philip came on strong early. Looked like he might have had a tough time getting back up there, but man, this is unbelievable. We loaded up a dually yesterday afternoon. Just 4 of us came out here and taking the money back to Danville, Virginia. So big thanks to Bill Mullis, everybody involved right here. Billy Banks put together an unbelievable engine. Clarence's Steakhouse, Danville Toyota. You guys get a chance, go to DanvilleToyota.com, take a look at their inventory. Liquid Performance, my brother, HC, Jackson Rigney, Jordan Pickerel. Colin Garrett came over. He's going to Race Xfinity tomorrow. Come over to help change tires tonight and hang out with us. And Connor jumped in here and helped us too. So kind of a mixed bag of guys working on this thing today. But, man, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Talk about how hard it is to win these things. Winning these kind of races, coming out, like you said, the drive from Danville all the way to here to try to do this, number one, but to actually feel that, come across and feel that checkered flag. Can you explain that to the fans a little?
Yeah, it's such a surreal feeling right now. I knew that Josh was a little better than we were the last few corners, and we were just hitting our marks, and I was telling HC, just give me some lap times, and he kept saying he's 4 back. All of a sudden he jumped to 2 back, and to start off with, you come to Langley Speedway and you got to run those Edwards boys and the CE Fault, you packed your lunch. So, man, Clarence Pickerel's been racing a long time. He's put a lot of stock in me, and we're going to take this money back to Danville, try to come back here for this Hampton Heat and put on a show for these fans again. Unbelievable night to race on here. Unbelievable that Bill Mullis and all these guys stepped up to the plate when short track racing was let down by Denny Hamlin. To not have the Denny Hamlin showdown, they stepped up and filled the gap. So big hats off to Bill and Chuck and you and everybody involved with this whole track right here. Hampton is very lucky to have this track. And, man, my dad was spotting for me. He was trying to be quiet, but HC jumped in there and was just telling me the gap, and Mom was up in this box filming. So it's a family effort right here, and everybody's working hard. And we bolted this motor in yesterday morning, and man, it all worked out. And it's so hard to put the pieces together. Martinsville showed it last year. We had a couple opportunities leading late, and it didn't work out. But here we are in Victory Lane at Langley Speedway.
There you go, guys. Your thoughts?
Wow.
Pretty strong statement there towards the end.
Pretty strong.
Well, he said on Speed 51 when they interviewed him Monday, said that it, really wasn't anything. He didn't mean anything by it, but I don't know if I buy that or not.
It seemed like it.
I mean,
that was an awful lot of passion in
Right.
that statement
I was
that he
gonna
said.
say.
It wasn't
Right.
just a roll on. It was
Right.
passionate.
right.
It wasn't off the cuff. I think, he was speaking from the heart to me.
He seemed bitter about it a touch. little hurt there. And I'm okay with that. I understand. I mean, that shows some passion, right?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people, were kind of disappointed in the way that, Denny's group, canceled their event, given that, their excuse more or less was come down to, them paying for cars for their own rides out of the foundation, and they couldn't make any money with the foundation. Well, you're a millionaire. Go pay for your own damn car. So.
Wow.
Enough said.
Enough said.
There you go.
You heard it here first.
All right, some short track news. Lanier Raceplex going to host 2019 PASH National Championship finale. So they sat dormant for several years, so a couple decades, maybe a decade or so. The officials from the PASH All-Star Series announced they're going to be racing their season finale at Lanier Raceplex. So he announced that this past Monday, so that's pretty exciting. Love that race. With your involvement in short track racing, have you ever worked a race there or worked on a team
at Lanier?
Lanier, yeah. I mean, I loved watching. Never been there personally, but used to love watching the ASA.
I went there a couple years ago, and it was disgusting. It was so sad.
They had flattened all the buildings. Right. They repaved everything. They were doing drifting things.
It was so sad.
But glad to see that place host some good oval racing. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be great for the community. Jason Hogan won the first time the pass was down there in 2006, but it was a northerner, Corey Williams, from Maine, won the last time they were there in 2007. So excited to announce that. I'm glad to see that. That's
really cool.
That's a road trip there.
It's always good when you see a racetrack,
come back.
Not necessarily completely come back, but at least get a race there, and it
Yeah.
looks like they're heading in that direction.
Yeah, and the first person I thought was Boo Carlisle. I know he was pretty close to that, so I'm sure he's jumping up and down and ready to get out there to see some action.
All those Georgia people.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that was,
asphalt, racing down there. I'm sure they're all happy.
Oh, absolutely. All right, a big thing in the news from last weekend's racing. Of course, you saw it on RACE22. Morris Dock 5 finishing positions, rather.
Which was actually 4, but
4.
That's weird.
There's some weird math.
The whole thing was... Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, that's... for the ignition violation. All right, Roger, you're going to need to help us out here.
It's just different than digital and analog. I mean, that's it, right? So, to me... I think there's maybe a little more manipulating that you can do with one or the other, but I'm not a motor expert, so therefore I don't know.
Right.
The biggest thing I think is, right, like it's either right or wrong. Right? Like if you're going to be right or wrong, how are we going to micromanage it so far down that that's only 3 spots.
But,
right, like that. Oh, that was only worth 2. You had to run second if you had that. That's cool.
Think about this, okay? How many racetracks have you been to, and how many times have you been in tech? And a guy said, "Hey, man, just don't bring it back." Well, in this case, he can say, "Well, it's just this level penalty that we're going to give you. Don't bring that part back, and we're good." So it's not like, "Hey, I'm not taking all your money." You know what I mean? And maybe,
I just think it leaves it up for interpretation where you can put. Now I think they open the can of worms for
manipulation.
It
definitely opens another can of worms.
Right? There's manipulation like mad. You could, we just found this little tidbit, and it's kind of an all or nothing to me, right? Like you're either pregnant or you're not. You're either right or you're wrong. I'm either going to kick you out for the violation or it's not worth me doing anything about. I don't understand how we're going to go at a small portion or who's going to make that determination or... you know what I mean? This ain't the cup level where we're laser aligning everything and this. It's not that.
Right. My question is that the same piece of equipment he's running at other tracks? Because it says in the story that some places enforce it, some don't. So
it's like everything else, dude.
Yeah,
it's everything in this deal. It's either a lot of the tracks just let it happen. So. And a lot of it's because the rules are antiquated.
Right, exactly.
That's what you and I talked about, right? I mean.
And I'm not saying that this is something that they should be running or shouldn't be running.
Correct,
what I'm saying is, if some of the racetracks are letting them, at some point we got to just get on the same page.
That's exactly what we're talking about with these bodies.
Right.
So that's the question I had on that. Why is he allowed to run at some places and then get penalized for going there? But should he do his homework? Should he call ahead and say, hey, what's allowed, what's not? I mean, does it come down to that?
They did post an update to the rules prior to the event, okay? But they did so on Facebook. Well, Philip Morris ain't on Facebook.
No.
Now, I realize some of his crew might be, but Philip Morris ain't on Facebook, and that's not a real good place to be posting that.
Well,
what do you mean? NASCAR did it.
Well, I understand. At least put it on your website,
which
it was not.
But the sanctioning body did it, so what's the difference?
I don't know, man. I don't know. We're in a weird time where, and I think that's the thing people get confused about Facebook. Like I talk to people all the time, and they go, "Man, did you see that on Facebook?" No. Are you not friends with such and such? Yeah. Well, you got to understand, if you don't interact with these people, you don't see it. So Facebook isn't this global thing that everybody sees. Okay?
You put one beacon out there and everybody sees the light.
Right. It's not how this works. So I don't know.
I don't either. We'll just keep trying to make it better through the RACE22 radio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Informing the
.org.
masses.
We can keep talking. I mean, hopefully somebody at some point will listen.
Well, I think there's been some good things that have come.
Absolutely.
I don't want to take credit for them or the show to take credit for them, but I do see that. I like the fact that we get to at least acknowledge the improvements.
Right.
Does that make sense? I think if you're going to talk the junk, you got to acknowledge the improvements.
I agree, and that's kind of some of what we're going to do tonight.
That's a good segue, huh?
And I think it's good to expose the weaknesses, so you can make those stronger, right?
What do you got, Kim?
For sure.
Bring it.
Bring it.
It's just best that I stay quiet. I've got a lot to say, but
I feel that way. She stays
I
quiet.
wish Langley is very uncomfortable right now. It's awesome.
but at the same time, I'm afraid I'll step on toes.
Yeah, but you can't. That's part of this. Listen, step on toes. I can't. Kevin Pearson and I used to talk every 2 weeks. I can't even get him to call me back. Right? Like, I sent him a nice text the other day telling him I thought his social media was good. No response. Apparently, I have made him so angry that he won't. So that's part of the deal, right? Like, I guess.
Well, you've been good at making people angry. I see Randy Weaver on here.
Yeah, I thought they were coming. I thought we had those booked for sure.
Yeah.
I think you pissed in their cornflakes a little bit. I don't know if you really intended to or not.
I didn't. But
hey,
then
2 bags of popcorn in that stuff.
That was good stuff.
See, you two like to be the bad guys. I want to stay on the good side.
Well, and that's good, right? And I don't like to be the bad guy. I think sometimes people don't say the truth. I think there's people make their own versions of what is happening, and I don't.
Right.
I think that other people from outside maybe have a different perspective, and I think it's okay for us to all have different perspectives.
Absolutely.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, Mason Dunn summed it up pretty good, and I thought I'd never say those words.
Wow.
He said, if I can get this thing to move, he said, everyone knows more than everyone else.
Yep.
That's the times we live in.
Yep.
Everyone's an expert. Must be nice.
I agree.
Well, there you go.
That's actually right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, are you done with the news over there?
Aye, Captain.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
I just wanted to make sure before I moved on
You like my new news intro? I'm gonna use it every week now.
It's a little much.
Well,
Just a little bit.
Until you're fired.
If you guys want to leave your comments about how Doc was and the thing, it was great. It was great for him to be here for the 7 or 8 shows that we've done, and then next week, we'll have somebody new.
Oh man! Wow. Dave Pascal in our comments, he asked earlier. He said, "Did you watch the Langley Speedway 200 lapper?" Which I don't think you did.
No, I didn't.
He said he wanted to discuss the dive bombs.
I saw some of the photos.
The Philip Morris, Thomas Scott crash, the crash between C. Falk and Josh Berry. So let's take them one at a time here. Let's start with the crash between C. Falk and Josh Berry. I missed it.
I didn't see that one. I saw the second
I literally
one.
walked out of the room and then heard, something on there, and I'm like, dang. So I missed it. Doc, did you happen to catch that one?
I was watching it. Yes.
What do you think happened?
I think it was experience with CE at Langley. That's how you got to run. Dive bomb them corners because it is flatter than most.
You saw it as just clean racing.
No, I do not see it as clean racing.
That's what I wondered.
I think he dive bombed in there and
but I think
put the
didn't
car.
It have a lot to do with the lap car of Eddie Johnson, I believe. Ain't that what caused most of that? I believe that's what
he was cooking.
What I said
chicken.
I was cooking.
You were both cooking chicken. These two.
No, that was pork. That was country pork ribs, boneless pork ribs.
Oh man. We can't get any of that here for the show.
Nope.
But, whatever.
Can't get a damn thing.
But yeah, I missed that, so I ain't got nothing to say about that one. The one with Philip Morris and Thomas Scott, I seen it. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I'm not driving the thing, so I can't tell.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. I mean, but I will say on the C. Falk Philip Morris crash, I do not think C was at fault. I mean, maybe 50-50 if you want to give, blame there, but I think, Philip come down and he just kept coming.
He was in there pretty far from the photos.
I mean, you know, if the man dives below you and your spotter doesn't call you, or your spotter does and you keep going, I mean, you know.
I mean, most of the time
whatever.
when you listen to the spotter say, he's looking, he's there, you know, so surely it had a presence there, right?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what the spotter said. I wasn't listening.
Yeah, right.
So
See, we don't know that. It's too many factors for us to say, yeah, he went in there and took him out. No, I'm not going to say that.
Right.
That's going to be the headline that you did, though.
Sounds good to me.
Right. Dave Pascal said, yeah, it was the lap car, and yeah, that's kind of what I gathered from listening to him talk. I believe it was Eddie Johnson. Not 100% positive on that. Maybe Mason Dunn can tell us, since you know he's the Langley Speedway expert here. So I mean, like, speaking of experts, here he's the expert on that. We'll give him that one. I just lost the comment, but Jeff Elliott talking about where the pass races are. You know, the national races being mostly in the South, getting rid of the pass series. Well, they basically took the best races and kept them part of the
they knew what they were
deal.
doing.
Yeah, it was a great move.
It was from a businessman standpoint,
Absolutely.
It was a great move.
Absolutely. And speaking of business moves versus racing moves, that was something you mentioned in the thing about Carteret going from Saturday to Sunday. Well, now all their races they will go and run the next day.
If it does rain out, yes.
I think that's a big mistake.
From a racing standpoint, if I'm a racer, man, I love that. But if I'm the man running the business, I'm an idiot.
Right. I think that's a big mistake.
I mean, that is
They should call some other
mistake.
track promoters that have tried that. I think Piercy actually gave me some numbers one time when he had to go on Sunday.
Motor Mile did that at one time, didn't they?
He didn't do as well.
Right. I agree. I don't know. I mean, I just from a business standpoint, that's something that I could never see doing.
It just ain't gonna work. They'll be there Saturday if they're
look
coming.
At the stands.
Yeah.
Right.
If you look at their pictures,
holy
bad.
gosh. Well, I think I said something to you like, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
probably if you were up high, you probably got blowed off the stands.
Yeah, but that's the only place it looked like there was a few specks sitting.
Right.
There was just a few people like hiding by them billboards trying to get up
behind that little building.
Yep.
Right. For sure. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I think anytime, in business, you got decisions like that. And I think for the racers, it's a good decision. But for the business of the racetrack, and at the end of the day, though, anything that's bad for the racetrack is bad for the racer.
Where's the line for that? That's something that I actually think about quite a bit. And where is the line for that? Where's the line for how do you, as a businessman or as a person, let's take it from the promoter standpoint, because I'm interested in your answer from the chassis business standpoint.
Right.
Where do you put yourself in front of the racer? Because if you do it all the time, you'll be broke and out of business.
Right.
So where is that line?
Well,
the racer thinks the line should be all the way over there, and you should just open the doors and give them everything.
Right.
But realistically, what do you think is acceptable?
I mean, I think it's the same thing we say every show, or I say every show. Lower their expenses, and you'll fix all your problems.
Oh, I don't disagree.
The racetrack can fix a lot of their problems by helping the racer, and not helping their racer to their, dismay. You know what I mean? Not hurting themselves in the process of trying to help their racers. And they can help their racers in a lot of ways. I mean, there's so many ways that they can do that. Andy Markey, of course, the
foundation,
the PR guy, the announcer,
Yeah.
part time. I think I think he announces sometimes not. I think Bob does some of it, but he said trackside was full, and I'm sure it was. I'm not saying anything bad in any way, shape, or form about Carteret. Not at all. I'm just saying that is a terrible business move. Terrible.
Sunday.
Well, whatever.
And they may not rain out the rest of the year, and they might not have to worry about it.
Like if you get forced into that situation on a big race,
Yeah.
and you've got everything there, and everybody's there, and you've already sold your tickets and everything, okay, whatever.
Right.
You got to do what you got to do. But when you have to call it before the fans get there, it's probably not a great plan. And if they're going to do that all year, I mean, what happens if it rains every race that they go to run, and they have to run the next day every time? I mean, 4 or 5 races in, they're going to be looking for somebody who's got some money. Okay?
Maybe that's not a problem
They
there.
better be selling some more sponsorship. That's
Maybe
all I got to
money's
tell
not a
you.
problem there.
Well, it may not be. I don't know. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I mean, it was their decision for sure. Eugene Light, said that you got to protect the racer from himself, and that's 100% right. And that's something we haven't collectively as a business we haven't done a good job of.
No.
For years now. So.
The Spindles was my stand, I think.
Right.
I think that was where my stand was.
Right.
I can't vouch for Lee, but you didn't need him to win Hickory.
Right.
I can say that with 100% certainty.
Right. Yeah, you said that Taylor Gray was
Yeah,
on.
you didn't need them to win Hickory,
Right,
so I refuse to put them in here. That's just me, right? I think it's great for maybe people that want them, but Taylor Gray ran pretty good the second time too, second race there without them. So, just that being said, I think that's where my line in the sand was, to try to protect the racer from themselves just a little bit. But the engineer in you says that you should try to sell them for $1,200 because they got to be minusculely better. But
right.
It's up to making that determination. Are they $1,200 better? No, I don't think so.
Well, at the end of the day, if they can't get them from you, they're going to go somewhere.
For sure.
Right.
And I just think that, it's just my line in the sand, I guess. I just think.
So you're okay with not making money by taking that stand?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I believe in it that much. I believe in that we're going. I believe in that we're going to make it to where nobody can afford to do any of this.
Right.
And then we're not going to be able to affect the product at all because.
I mean, we're sort of already there.
Correct.
I mean,
but we're there because the driver doesn't have to perform because his father is not firing him.
Right. Right.
Correct. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
We're there because the driver does not have to do anything because who's firing him?
Right. Right.
Nobody.
Right.
His mom makes him play Fortnite for the weekend because he can't go to the racetrack. Right? Like, I mean, that's the truth.
Well, even if he gets out of the car
And I appreciate the customers that I have that are there, but people don't. I get asked all the time in here, what do we got to do to make this better? Well, what do we got to do to make it better? We can't even make anybody better because they just go home and tell mom. Then we can. Well, we're done.
Back in the UARE days, there was a driver, and I'm not going to mention his name. I don't even think that, he's listening.
God,
but he
I hope
would
not.
I was at Bristol and seen this for myself. He got out of the car, and his dad did not think he did good enough in qualifying, and literally beat the crap out of his son
50 style boxing.
Oh, I remember
on
that.
pit road. I mean, this boy was crying.
Well, it was in the trailer.
Yeah,
but
he beat the
you
crap
could see it from pit road.
out of his son.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really bad deal. Really, really, really bad
I've
deal.
been aggressive on my son before.
But not like that, I hope. That was awful.
Oh, man. Stephen Dunn said that Moonshiners wanted to know if Moonshiners was selling Bloody Marys on Sunday morning. Well, I would say that of any racetrack, this is something that I've actually told Andy. I said any racetrack that can pull that off as far as, moving to the next day and making money out of it.
That's
you can
a
keep
win.
them there long enough on Saturday. You got that bar there. You can sell them enough beer. I'm sure.
You get in the fall, you can do some football overlap. Nice little race in the morning, football in the afternoon.
I mean, that place is amazing to go to. I mean, I will say that. I mean, that's no doubt about that. Randy Weaver said that they got $200,000 rigs. Come on, Roger, sell them all the spindles they want.
I just don't.
Come on.
Yeah, I just don't.
Oh, man. Jeff Elliott said that he's seen firsthand a KBM driver got 30 tires to practice on for Oxford 250. Best of everything. We had a 603 and a 4-barrel and beat them bad.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
They couldn't win with Rafael Lessard over there either.
Right.
I mean,
right.
DGR mopped up with him. He goes to KBM, and I think he wins one race.
Right.
I don't think so.
Right. It happens. I mean, for sure. No doubt about that. But y'all keep sending in some comments and stuff, and we'll try to catch them as we go along here. One of the things that we wanted to do on this show, since it was a Thursday, just an off day for us, and we wanted to try something a little different and just hang out and have a conversation. But one of the things we wanted to try to do is try to go through the racetracks that have already started for the season and ones that haven't, and kind of talk about what we expect to see. And
we're going to make more friends, essentially.
Well, we haven't been doing a very good job, of making enemies. So we might as well go ahead and get started tonight, I guess.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we got Kim on. That's what she's there for.
That is. Oh yeah, she's damage control.
Yeah.
Thomas Scott's on.
Yep, Thomas Scott's on here with us.
Good stuff.
We've been talking about you. Mostly good. But I guess we'll start, go in alphabetical order here. I think I got them in the right order. I think I know my alphabet. I'm not sure.
Helpful. That's why Kim's here.
Yeah, she definitely don't know her alphabet.
A.
Well, speaking of A, let's start with Ace. A Speedway's, of course, only had one race so far. We were there.
Yep.
Roger was there.
Hey. Gosh, man, you were aggressive on me with this.
Well, I mean,
I was there.
Hey, but think about this.
I'm sad.
It's been as long for me as it has. Yeah, it's been as long for me as it has for you since I've been to a race, because I didn't get to go to Orange County. I had some stuff I had to get done
He
that
took
weekend.
that weekend off too.
And yeah, I did. I did take that weekend.
Well, I mean,
I've taken the last 2 weekends off.
It's nice, but you can't go every weekend, can you? I'd like to, but
I used to could. I don't know.
I understand, but like I think
You know?
life changes a little bit. I got to do some family things once in a while. Or end up with no family.
Well,
hello.
Been there, done that. Haven't you?
Yes, I've been through this, and this will not happen ever again. I get nice meals. Remember, we were just talking about that.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, you better go to a little less races.
Right, I understand.
Than other people. If you don't get nice meals from your family, you can go to all the
I
races
get nice
you
notes, nice meals. It's great stuff.
Right. Yep. For sure. I've seen them.
Yeah.
But
Ace.
Ace. I mean, they had a really good race to start out the season. It was a short field for the late models.
Definitely a short field.
And the limiteds, but
and it paid pretty good, I think, didn't it?
I think all their races pay pretty good to win anyway.
Surprising.
That's something that Thomas Scott could probably tell us a little bit more about here. He raced there a little bit last year, but I think it pays pretty top heavy. I think there, and I believe they're still on 4 tires, not having went to 2.
Sure.
And I think you see a separation of the tracks that are on 2 tires and the ones that
you
are
definitely
on 4.
do, don't you?
I mean, I think you see better car counts at the guys, and I think what you're picking up, and you may not pick up, some big name, you know what I mean, if you're on 2 tires. But, I mean, I say that, and South Boston's on 2 tires, and they have, the 3 of the biggest names in the sport, Peyton, Lee, and Phillip, which, they'll all be back, racing there this weekend, and we'll talk about that when we get to the South Boston, portion of this. But, Ace, I mean,
facility looked great, I thought.
Yeah, it did look great, and they're always did you come up on the roof when I was up there?
No.
Yeah, you did. You did come up on the roof.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Did you notice the floor was a little? Well, I mean, I'm a big boy. I was a little scared.
No, I didn't
It
notice
was
that.
sketchy, but they're fixing that.
I didn't have that problem.
They've been
I'm
making
svelte and trim.
I mean,
there was no problems up there. I've been working out.
I mean, there's 2-liter bottles that weigh more than you.
Come on, man.
I mean, so I mean, what?
I've been working out.
Yeah, I don't.
On my skateboard.
You didn't get any muscle out of those workouts. I can tell you that much. Yeah, you've been around here riding your one wheel around.
That thing is awesome.
Whatever the heck it's called.
Ace, I thought they did a good job. I'd like to see maybe a little. I was surprised that I didn't see as much on social as I thought I would.
Right.
If I had to, not to give them a bad critique, but I would have to say that I think they have a great product. I think just a lot of people don't know about it.
Right.
Meaning, it's been through its ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs, and I think.
Well, and they're still on the building process.
Oh yeah, I'm not dogging right at all.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while before they get the trust of the community. For sure.
And I think they seem to be going after it pretty hard. And I mean, this place is nice. You can take your family and sit on the front. You can go to the backstretch and have a couple beers if you want to. They have suites. I think I don't remember what he told me they were $500-600 if you have a group that wants to go. I think those are all good things. I'd like to see them do just a little bit more social, but I'd like to do more social myself. So, it's a little hard to say that about everybody. I like what
I
they're
think
doing.
we're all in that boat.
Right.
You know what I mean? We all need to be doing more. And
how I feel about that is one week they'll do really good with their social. They'll put out, a bunch of stuff about the upcoming race, and then the next race I sort of feel like they drop the ball on it.
Right. Well, I think that comes and goes with.
It's tough. Everybody.
With trying to run. You and I know as good as anybody.
How about he just threw you down? Langley just threw you down. That was great. We might get them fighting right here.
You run out of time.
Hey, be quiet. My wife's on. Be quiet. My wife got on. Be quiet.
We should stop talking about the stripper poles you put in here.
Man, come on. Ace pays $3,000 to win. He said there.
Yeah, $3,000. I mean,
wow, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I mean. You were going through, some of the payouts earlier. Mm-hmm. Some of the other racetracks definitely don't pay that much. Of course,
do you think they'll be able to build at Ace? I mean, a lot of those guys I remember going there, and you remember going there, 5-10 years ago, whatever, and they had the, and I saw him here. They had the Patrick Colemans. They had the rivalries that went on there, right? And
like we talked about with Boone.
Yeah,
100%, right? And I'm interested to. I just didn't really see that there, and I know it was the first race and it's a short glimpse of it, but I just really didn't see that heightenedness that I used to remember going to Ace and seeing.
A lot of the players have changed, but I kind of wanted to go back to getting the community Trust. I don't think anybody else would come in after what they went through and have success the way that the Turners are. The Turners are from there. I think it's in a perfect.
That's what it's all about.
Perfect situation to gain the trust back of the community, and I know that's important to him.
It's the reverse of how Tri-County died.
Right. I think. Yeah.
Right. I mean.
Right. Yeah. But I think those rivals will build and they'll come. It's just new players. It has to develop. Now, if you want some rivals. Anytime Boo Boo's there in the limited, there's going to be 6 of them, 6 rivals.
Right.
But in the late models, I think it will build. I think it will happen. But
Boo Boo
it might take
keeps. He's pretty. I mean, he goes to win.
Yeah, absolutely, love it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's what it. That's what it's going to take.
I think it's going to just take time.
But going back to the
where
the trust,
are all them cars?
The trust thing of the community.
Well, just treated us. They were not nice.
Right. Some of them were really good.
Yeah, some of them
When we did this radio show 10 years ago,
right?
That it was going on over there, right? Like Friday nights, that was a big thing to go over there. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of people. The crowds
you can say that about every racetrack.
I don't know.
What racetrack wasn't doing good then? Yep.
Doing as good as they are now?
Well, sure. I mean, there's, they're all over the map, different years, different, managements and everything. But I mean, can you name one that wasn't doing really, decent or about on
So
par?
is that what how this is going to go down? I think this a lot when I look at my books from the business. Is this going to go that just going to continually for the 9.5 years, we're just going to continue on this bottomless slide toward the bottom and then hopefully it'll bust and then we go up or what? How does it swing around?
I don't know, man.
Because you're saying for 10 years we've been on, and I'm not dogging it, right? You're saying 10 years we've been, and I can show you the numbers to prove it.
And I think we can go way further than 10 years.
Probably
go
right?
30.
But so, was it just that frothy 15 years ago?
It was a pretty good business back in the day, for sure. For sure. Pretty good one. I mean, you look around at the amount of racetracks that have, that don't have full-time staff today.
Mm-hmm.
That had 3, 4, 5 people working full time for them, and just 10 years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a different business today.
It is certainly a different business. I can tell you, the interesting part for me is, it is so different than it was 10 years ago that if you were gone and came back, and Doc could probably allude to this, you wouldn't even think it was the same.
Right. Yeah. Right. For sure. And I get, and this is a, funny thing. And
I don't mean good nor bad. Right. I just mean you wouldn't think it is the same.
Right. 100%. I think, a lot of, I get people I get 2 or 3 job offers a year to run a racetrack or tire kickers.
Sure,
whatever. They may or may not be serious, but, they're talking. So, and I think to myself every time I get one, can they really afford this?
Right.
Can they afford to pay
But
somebody?
they do, right?
And
they sustain through it, most of it.
Right, sure. I mean, but I think, you see the tracks that are doing the best, they've got another business that they're making money off of, and they're not trying to make money off the racetrack. But I just don't think that's a good business model.
No.
At some point, that ends.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, as great as everything is at South Boston, at some point or another, they're just going to go, yeah, we're not doing that anymore.
Well, but I mean, take the UARA, perfect example, over a 2.5 year period of time, right? Something that we all loved and we all followed back then, but I mean, it kind of just went to what it was, right? It became nothing. It went from 25, 26, 27 cars, great fields, named fields, pretty much the premier division of it. And in 2 years, it was gone.
Right. For sure. Jordan, who's here with us, doing some work for us tonight. He said that communities and longtime local racers build racetracks and series. Bowman Gray is a fantastic example of that.
That's the model of that for sure.
And I don't
100%.
Like, do you think that this would be a good one for the Weavers and the guys that are, Andy Johnson and them guys? Do you think that if I know that's so much of like Nashville's quarter mile stuff too, right? It's kind of along that same similar line. Not everybody wants to race that way though.
I don't know. I think these racetracks have slowly changed that culture. They've made people to where they don't.
But if you divulge through, I've read that conversation with Andy Johnson about 100 times, and if you read what Weaver ended up saying, kind of there at the end was, "Hey, we just had to get a more durable steed to race with. We couldn't run a supercar or a 3,300 pound car. We needed things that we could make bigger and beefier and to run the quarter mile with." And is that what it's going to all go to? Because those are the two places that, I mean, that kind of racing seems to go down like that, and they seem Bowman Gray's really successful. I couldn't vouch for Nashville, but I mean, that's kind of the way they race at those little places. And I've been to Nashville and had a bunch of people there. Them people are standing up, yelling and screaming and throwing beers and the whole deal, right?
Right.
So, but a lot of people don't want to race that way. So what's the alternative for them?
I don't know, man.
They got nothing.
I don't know. I mean, you look at, I don't know. There's all kinds of different options. You know what I mean? You look at the Southeast Super Truck Series, the Southeast.
It's doing all right.
The Southeast Limited Late Models that they run.
Right. You got to be careful about which one, because the other one only had like 2 cars, right? Isn't that the one Mac Little won? There was 3 of them, I think.
I think that was a Sportsman, right?
Yeah,
but whatever. There's so many of them. I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, you look at that deal. That deal's pretty good. I mean, you don't have no big name racers, to speak of, but you have, just Saturday night guys like Josh Goebel's on here. He races in there. Clint King and Ralph Carnes, and you have all those guys, and they're just Saturday night racers. Those are my favorite guys.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Put on a great show
because they're going to be around forever.
Yeah, but it goes back to kind of what we talked about in the pre-show. But they respect their own stuff.
Right. Right.
They respect their own stuff. Like not one of them guys that you mentioned is not going to just dump somebody for no shot. Right. I mean, because they got to fix it. So they're going to dump you. Right. Yeah. It's going to be either really, really good or they're getting out because they're that pissed and we're fighting to the death.
Right. Right.
Right? I mean,
but I mean, the cost of it, I mean, that's what's really hard. Doug Smith chiming in, he used to run a Speedway, said that the bottom fell out in 2008. Abraham, the owner, was no help.
Is he still the owner? Do we know that?
I don't know, man. I mean,
doesn't matter.
Turner said they were buying it, whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. You still go race there. I just wondered.
Right. Jeff Elliott said that NASCAR is missing that point as locals become regional and then national stars with people who, they can't become that anymore. But, they need to get back to that point. They need to get back to a point to where, somebody's kid who ain't got a lot of money can go and be somebody.
Wow. It's like an African bee just slammed into Langley's face. That was amazing.
And ran.
Yeah.
Easy.
You got like a jungle in
Easy. Wow. Wow.
Josh,
our shop is in the hood.
You mentioned Tri-County, having a bad relationship. Josh Goebel said that when Tri-County had a relationship with the community, communicated with the commissioners, were a chamber member, the product was good, and it was.
Oh, for sure. We've talked about a lot of that, just with different people from that area that have even really communicated that I think that it would have to be them to do it, and I think some of the rules would go lenient.
Yeah, sure.
The biggest thing is those people are just as scared about investing bunches of money into something that they don't know whether it's going to go hard or not.
Well, I mean, I think that's the only reason Tri-County hasn't sold.
I do too.
The point they let things get with the community is the reason it hasn't sold, because it's a good price.
Right.
I mean, and I think you can have some good events there. I mean, you're not gonna make $1 million there for sure. I mean, you ain't making $1 million at any racetrack. You're probably not making money at most racetracks. And if you are, you're just barely doing so. But I mean, Tri-County, if it was in
Bowman Gray's making money.
A little better, well, of course they are. They are the exception to every rule.
Any rule, yeah.
I mean, there's no rule that they're not the exception.
Yeah, but how is that true? Because we said just a little while ago that Andy Marquis Carteret made money.
Who said?
Oh, I thought you said.
I ain't said anything.
Oh,
I ain't said anything about making money or not making money.
I thought you said one of them racetracks made money and they were going on Sunday. And it's hard to make money on Sunday.
No, I just said that it's really. I'm not saying they make money or don't make money on racing on Saturday. But if they go on that next day, I think it makes it even harder for them to make money. And I think it's a bad business decision because it's going to be tougher on the racetrack and it's going to put you in a hole. Okay. I mean, if you lose money a couple times at a racetrack, trust me, I did that a couple times.
Sure.
Lost money a couple times and kind of dug myself in a hole. And all it takes is one really good event to dig you back out of that hole, and you can get back to the break-even point, and you can hopefully stay there.
Right. That's the spring of owning a chassis company. When it rains every weekend.
Right. I mean, look at this place. I mean, it's like totally empty. I mean, you got Hefner's car that's going out tomorrow. I mean, you might as well go ahead and give your guys a week off or something.
Not the week off. We got new cars to build still, so there's quite a bit of that yet. But yeah, it's just it does make some cash flow situations for businesses. Surely, I mean, people I don't think understand if you still gotta have the lights on. So, and you don't want them to buy things that they don't need just to support. You know what I'm saying? You got to both ways.
Right, for sure. Mason Dunn says to make big money, you can't be a racetrack. You need to be an entertainment complex, for sure. I mean, you need to be having
100%.
other events, concerts, whatever it takes, and that's a risky business in itself. But you got to be doing something else for sure. I think we're pretty much done on Ace.
We need to have a time limit or something. We'll be here all night.
Right. I mean, we're going to try to run through, pretty fast. Anderson Motor Speedway, they've had a couple of races, one late model stock car race.
It's decent.
It was a good show when I was there for the late model stock race. The limited races have looked really, really good too.
That's been their bread and butter down there, hasn't it?
They've already generated a lot of interest, with the video that you guys had on.
Yeah, but that's the people that race there. To be real honest, I mean, that's a...
Right. Well, I mean, every racetrack's headed in that direction. Late model stock cars at being the top division at any racetrack will be a thing of the past.
Car Store will be the only one left.
Right. I mean, and special events. I think.
A racetrack, for sure.
You can keep the majors. The Thanksgiving Classic, the Myrtle Beach 400, Martinsville.
Right.
You can keep all those.
I'd like to add that Cars Tour Orange County into that. Hopefully, you know what I mean. Yeah, I think I'd like to see that as like a big four type thing. Go ahead.
I mean, I'd like to talk more about Anderson, but there's
just not a lot.
I mean, the only negative I have to say is every time I go there, it seems like the show drags on. That's the only negative I have to say at all whatsoever.
Yeah, but there was a good fight last time.
I think it just kind of comes with the way a Friday night show sometimes goes. You know what I mean? I've run a couple of Friday night shows, and they just seem to take forever.
Ace too, I guess, kind of, huh? I never thought
they're
about
really
it.
fast from the time you get there to the time you go green, but it seems like the show itself is just, for some reason, takes forever. Kingsport, it takes forever. You know what I mean? I mean, some of the nights I go up there, I'm like, man, I need a hotel room, and I'm only 2.5 hours away. I mean, it's just that's just the way it is. Carteret, we've kind of went over them. I mean, they got a good got a good thing going. I'm not sure about this next day deal.
Nice place.
Right, for sure. Caraway, they had a good opener. I mean, really good. I don't think they've had another race since then. But they had a really good opener for that first race, and I mean, I think they're slowly, Darren talked about it here, going to the limited division as top division, calling it Sportsman, trying to rein in the cost, and I mean that they're working on. They had a lot of problems, and they tried to mask them for a while, and now they're trying to fix them, and I think they're on the right track.
There's so many series that I can't figure out what's what.
Oh, you're talking about their series,
right? I mean, there's so many, there's so many.
Yeah, I mean,
series.
Doc, he gets confused every time we start talking about him. He says now this 602 Limited, that's the Southeast Limited, right?
Right, that's what I mean. I think it's
hard to keep up with.
But if they actually maybe tried to work together, you think they could have enough cars for a field?
I don't know. I mean, how would you do that? I mean, everybody's on different plans. Brandon Clements talking about Wake County on Friday night. Show is done right, and it really is. Charlie Hansen and the crew over there, they do a bang up job.
Fantastic little track.
That's the best racetrack, and from a business standpoint, I won't share all their business information, but the things I know about that place, I mean, it's awesome. From a business standpoint, it's awesome. But let's roll through some more of these. Dominion opened up, huge crowd.
Yeah.
This will be their second race this weekend. I know
Big
a lot
field.
of people were expecting Philip Morris was going to go there and run full time, but his page posted that he'll be at South Boston.
Yep.
So the three-way battle there will continue. But Dominion, man, I'm really, really Dennis Hall. Yeah, we'll probably skip that one. Oh man, but Dominion's off to a really good start.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about the penalty thing.
Right.
We don't really, and even I agree with having some sort of something like that, but I don't understand their level of penalties. Because to me, what Philip had, and I'm not saying that it's
better
way
or
off.
worse, or right.
To me that would have been an automatic disqualification. Right. I mean, if it's man, you're off by 2 pounds, we're gonna give you a P2 over here. You drop a couple positions and move on.
Right. But that's what I'm saying about how do you judge how harsh the penalty is or how not.
sure.
I mean,
Well, how many racetracks do we go to that says, "Oh, you're wrong. We're gonna dock you 10 spots. You're in 10th now."
Yeah, none.
Never.
None.
Never.
But I mean, we live in a different world.
Times are changing.
But that's
change
weird.
with it.
They're just setting themselves up for
are.
any little thing
They
that
are.
happens for somebody to be able to complain. Well, you dropped them a couple positions. You should do the same for me.
What's open for interpretation now is which I think makes it real bad.
Mason done. 2 plus 5 equals 6. Well,
yeah, let's go with that.
What the really bad part about it is I was trying to get that story out so fast, and I'm talking to different tech people and trying to get information and trying to understand, because I don't know anything about cars, so I'm trying to understand what this is and what they're talking about, and they. I'm throwing it out there in 5 positions, and I put the story up, and then like one of the first or second comment is 5. What?
I saw it.
Them talking about the math, and I'm like,
doesn't add up.
that really doesn't add up, does it? I didn't pay attention, but that was some weird math. I'm not really sure I understand the 2 plus 5 equals 6, but hey, man,
they
whatever.
got it.
Old Dominion had some weird math back in the day. Andy Marquis was covering a race for us there one time, and they had the halfway break of a 200 lapper on lap 91. So I mean,
good stuff.
Whatever it takes, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting deal for sure. East Carolina Motor Speedway. I'll be honest with you. I just don't know.
I haven't heard much about them.
I don't know what's going on down there. I mean, there's nobody doing anything to tell you what's going on down there. So, I mean, if somebody from East Carolina is listening, get to work.
Right.
Tell us what's going on.
Do something.
I mean, I will say I love you guys, videos and your post about getting people to the racetrack. I mean, some people may find them corny, but listen, you're doing something.
Right.
I don't
if it works, right.
I don't give a crap. But listen, tell us about your race. Tell us what happened. Give us the results. And that's another rant I could go on for about an hour. I don't give a damn if you got 3 cars. Just tell people you had 3 cars and move on.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Right.
You may have 2 or 3 little hecklers like Mason Dunn or something, talk trash
Junk
about
talking
you. You know what I mean? But other than that, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Just tell them.
Right.
It's like Shenandoah, like the buddy of mine, Eric Morris. He's on there like begging for them to tell the results, because he wants to know what happened at his home track. You know what I mean? They just won't tell. Just tell people. Just tell
they didn't
people.
post till like 3:00 that day on Facebook that they were racing.
Right.
After
maybe they were waiting to see if it was going to rain.
I finally found a schedule. So.
Well, that's
a win.
It was a picture dug way deep into the cellars of Facebook.
Right.
So. What were you doing on the dark web?
It wasn't the dark web.
Asking for a friend.
It was just darker than the normal.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know.
What's next?
But East Carolina, for real, seriously. Tell people about your race. Do something. Tell people. Just put it on Facebook. Tell people. Tag RACE22. Tell us. Make sure we know about it. We got amateur Corey Jr. over here banging into the mic.
That wasn't my mistake.
Yes.
Sorry.
Drinking a root beer. I hope you're driving home.
But if that
clearly.
Yeah, but wait, that was still nice, because if that would have been Corey, he'd have went 12 shades of son of a right. Doc would have had to turn his mic off. It was you. He's like, just put his head down and shook it. Yep. Yeah, that's it. Tough guy.
Florence Motor Speedway. They're doing some cool things. I mean,
they kind of got their own gig down there.
That whole area has its own. I mean, think about this. Think about Myrtle Beach. Okay, let's think about Myrtle Beach, Dillon, and Florence. Okay.
Yep.
Myrtle Beach has the best car count of anybody.
Correct.
And I do mean anybody.
Right.
And yet, it's almost irrelevant, and I don't understand why.
Correct.
I don't get it.
Yeah, but is the I don't want to call anybody out, right? But are the names there racing that you're? And I know we could make
some pretty badass racers there. I mean, Justin Milliken and Sam Yarborough and Chad McCumbee and the guys like that. You know? I mean, they've got some pretty badass guys. David Roberts races there pretty regularly.
Is it because? And they're a great place. Everybody loves going there. So why does it?
Sure.
So right. So
I think Michael Falk's down there racing this weekend.
We eliminated. They got 30.
Yeah,
they have 30. They legitimately have 30 cars for this week. Michael told me yesterday.
Right. I mean, it's pretty impressive, and I expect you'll see high car counts there all the time. But and I think part of the reason is that they're kind of separated from
geographically.
Geographically they're kind of separated from everybody. Everybody goes there for the Myrtle Beach 400, but otherwise, man, it's just kind of one of those deals where I'm not gonna say nobody cares. Less people care. You know what I mean?
It's a great place
to race. And I think Langley
too.
Speedway was in that boat before Bill Mullis really started ramping things up there and really throwing big events out there and trying to work on that.
What are the crowds on a regular basis? I couldn't tell you because I haven't been on a regular basis, but what are the crowds, I wonder, Myrtle Beach on a regular basis? Mike Neff is probably listening. He could chime in.
Myrtle Beach crowds are horrible.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, so are some other racetracks. They have really big grandstands, so it looks more horrible
Yeah, that
than
place
others.
is big
I mean,
grandstands.
But
And I think they race on the wrong day in the summer. They race on Saturdays, which most people are
people
either
are-
coming in
or going
or
out.
leaving.
Right.
But they tried Thursday, and it didn't really pan out for them. They still
True.
had a decent car count, but it didn't pan out for them as far as fans go.
But when
so-
they did race Thursday, we did make it that night.
Oh, one,
Right.
2 people made it, yay. And you didn't even pay to get in, I'm betting.
2 people would get in for free.
Yeah,
Bet you they were jumping for
that
joy
was
over
okay.
that one. I mean, whatever. But next racetrack, Greenville Pickens. They're kind of in their little lull right now. They've been struggling and combined those 2 divisions. It really didn't make for a big car count. I love Greenville Pickens.
I do too. I used to love it more before they paved it.
Got quite a few friends there that would love for me to go down there and help them out.
I
and
like
run
it.
And I would love to. It's so far away.
They always treat us so good when we go
Oh
down
man,
there. Always.
absolutely best hospitality of any
For sure.
of any racetrack.
They got a bar
that,
up there
went
too.
to. Yeah, I ain't been up to that.
Yeah, I have. It's nice.
I haven't been up there.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a good thing you haven't been up there.
Yeah, he's
That-
got a
that went
nice
in well.
nice little place up there.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they got to do to turn things around. I know, and I'll just say it on
They
the
got a
air.
lot of
When I
people that
talk to
want it.
people, and this is the truth, when I talk to people, the number one thing they say is that they think that the Hawk McCall cars are the house car and that they're being catered to. That's what everybody. Listen, every driver I've asked what the problem there is, that was the number one thing they pointed to. Went to Anderson. I talked to 2 or 3 racers down there, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I'm not racing against that. They get to do whatever they want there. Maybe
Right.
they're illegal.
They
blah
think
blah
he
blah.
owns that stuff. and
yeah,
I've
sure.
heard a lot of
Does
different
he? I
things,
don't
too.
know.
No,
I mean, but
I don't think so.
But at the end of the day, I mean, that's a problem. I mean, it's just like when Kevin Piercy had Matt Piercy racing, when Mike Diaz had Mason Diaz
Right.
racing, when Brandon Brown raced there, when Jerry Brown was involved in the racetrack
but,
over there.
Like, I mean, Lee's from so how do you fix that, right? Like, Lee's from that area, right? He's been a staple kind of in that area for a long time.
Well, and it makes sense for him to race there.
Right. I mean, right. That's where his customer base wants to race.
Sure.
How do you not, like, in his defense, right? Like, I mean, how do you, so you're supposed to kick him out because he's Lee McCall and he wins? Right. I
agree.
mean,
I agree.
I think that's a tough deal. I don't.
I agree. And here's one of the funniest things that I find about there. When I go there, I can be a part of the tech process.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to mention that. If anybody had any
I walk in there,
questions,
I love it.
I can see everything's going on.
I love it.
And the officials, they all say, well, I say, what are you checking? I ask some people, well,
right.
We'll take care of that over here. You know what I mean?
Right. We don't
Act
want
like,
you to know.
Big dogs.
Right.
We're big time. No, you're
Right.
not. But anyways, those guys there, they don't act like they're big time. They go, hey, this is what we're checking.
Right.
I don't know about this guy's over here. They tell you, hey, this guy's going to protest, which,
Right. Happens.
Right. Yes. That dude that was protesting, he didn't want people to know he was protesting. But
Oh.
I told that on RACE22, so whatever. But,
Oh, I didn't know. He didn't want people to know.
Oh yeah, it happens. But I mean, don't go to protest if you don't want somebody to know.
Right.
But it's so open there, so I just don't. It's hard for me to say that something's going on there.
Right.
In that case, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think that's it. I think you just race. I wish we could say that, just race, but I mean,
Right.
I don't. I mean, I imagine they tech his stuff just as hard.
Maybe harder.
Right.
I don't know.
So that would be nice if they could figure out a way to clean that up. I mean, it's not like Lee's going to go down there and lose, so it's going to be, he puts in a lot of time in his stuff, so they're going to run pretty good down there. So I think he's going to catch flack no matter what.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I think if he runs 15th, this is no problem.
Right now,
I mean, think about it. If he runs 15th, it's no problem.
Man, you about got me to say something.
I know. I was trying.
Damn.
I'm trying.
I
Good
saved
show so
myself from that
far.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good save. But I don't know. I don't know what to do. There. I just don't know what the fix is for Greenville. I don't. And I will say, some racers told me that they didn't like the new pavement. I think we talked about this
Right.
before on
Yeah.
the show, but they don't like the new pavement. They're like, well, I like that old wore out racetrack where
Right.
you could really get in there.
You could do something.
So I don't know. It's really weird.
Well, I mean, we have shown that them places that are a little wore out, people can win.
Sure.
I mean, look, the Gibbs kid win at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
And then subsequently has pounded him in a fence ever since. So it's not like, you know what I mean? It's the truth.
I mean,
You know what?
I don't know.
Like that didn't happen? Is that what you're saying? No, it happened. It happened. He won down there, and then the next subsequent weeks he they picked them up with rollbacks. So
Right.
it's a little more forgiving. You can buy your time and
Right.
run your race and see if everybody else runs out of tire.
Right. Yeah, sure. All right, we'll move on to Hickory. I
didn't
think
like
that's
that?
my exit right there for that one.
It's the truth. I'm not lying.
I mean, what's there to say about Hickory? I mean, they've struggled with the limited car count, but their late model car count's been as good or better than anybody else's pretty much so far. That's run multiple races so far this year. I know you and Kevin are having a
I'm
lover's
not allowed
quarrel,
to speak.
but I mean,
I think Jason is doing a fantastic
Oh,
job,
yeah.
Dude,
getting
100%.
information out.
That's
He's
why
doing
I
it
was-
pre-race and post-race.
That's why I was mad. I sent Kevin a text because I saw one of their things had like 145 comments on it, and I was like, "Yeah!" They went
Absolutely.
from doing no social, right? And
Well, I wouldn't
as
say
soon-
no. They just
yeah,
it
very
was less.
limited, right?
Yeah.
And there was
Yep.
not hardly any interaction at
And it
all
doesn't
from
have
the
to be
people.
perfect.
Right?
I
no,
think
no.
Jason's, are pretty doggone good. He just
Yep.
does them simple. He gives great
Sits up in
information.
there, sure.
Got
And
his
he's
kid on there
consistent.
entertaining.
Yeah,
Which I think
that
is
was
cool,
funny.
right?
That
That is
was
cool.
very fun. That was
sure.
awesome. But yeah, he does a fantastic job, and he's consistent. It's
Yep.
always there.
Yep.
It's always there. And I think tracks need to take notice. I mean,
And I don't know who does their social media otherwise. But I mean,
it's ramped up.
they've really
Yeah.
stepped it
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, and the thing about it is, I think sometimes when we get on our little soapbox about social media, they think to themselves, "Well, gosh, we're doing as much as everybody else." Well, that's the point.
Right.
That's the point. Nobody's doing anything. You know
Right.
what I mean? That's why I said, on that show, nobody's doing more than 10% of what they should be doing.
Sure, including us. I mean,
including RACE22.
That's
I
why
mean, we
we're-
have fantastic engagement. We've had a lot of good things going on, but we
Yeah, I
still
saw
probably
that.
ain't doing 10%.
You
of
should
what,
tote your own note a little.
yeah.
My man doesn't tote his
Everything's
own
good.
note about how good Race 22 is, and I saw some of the demographics, and I think people would be really, really surprised at the amount of engagement that's larger than some of the other platforms that you would assume are bigger.
Right.
And that was what the baffling to me thing is, and we're friends. I'm
Right.
telling you that I never understood the analytical side of Race 22 and how strong it really is, and I think that's kind of a credit. I mean,
Right.
that's and because it's interaction, you got to give the people that are interacting with Race 22 a little bit of a shout out too, for the simple fact of people aren't afraid to get on there and bust your chops, and
Right.
I think that creates some camaraderie.
Right.
Oh no, people's never been afraid to get
Right.
on there and go jabbing with them.
Right, for sure.
They always lose.
But yeah, back,
I can tell you that much. They always lose.
The guy from
Which one?
Franklin County, I didn't know what
That was
he
some
could do.
entertainment.
Man, my juice went everywhere. I was drinking lemonade, and I read that. I'm like, whoa, wow, that escalated quickly.
I don't even think you got to the good parts.
That escalated quickly.
But for comparison, I'm not trying to brag on Race 22, but I will take a second to say our engagement on our Facebook page, which is something that I do separately, trying to help people with their social media and stuff. So I mean, if you need help with that with your business, obviously we can help you. But comparatively, we have 19,000 likes, and this just tells you that likes don't matter. Okay,
Right. Sure.
DirtOnDirt.com has 155,000 likes. Okay, we have the same engagement they do.
Really?
And they have almost 10 times more people that like their stuff than we do. So that's just from a comparison purpose there.
One thing going back to Hickory, talking about, them ramping up their social media. Jason's videos aren't perfect. We were talking about East Carolina earlier,
Right.
how, they were
They
doing
don't
videos.
have to be perfect.
No, just do it. Just do something.
Yep. Yep. Tim Bean says that Jason was doing that last year. I must have missed him last year, so I'm not really sure.
I think he did a few toward the end of the year, maybe, but I don't think it was a lot.
I didn't get didn't get me dialed in on social there, but Chris Burns talking about a minute ago. He said that when his dad was helping at Carteret, everyone talked about how he got favoritism, but really he got the short end of the stick, and that's how it works. I mean, honestly, I remember a Legends race when I was working at Southern National, and Mason was running in it, and Mike put him to the back, and I don't think he touched anybody. I mean, but it's perception, and in the world we live in, perception's reality. I mean, that's just That's just the way
That's
it is.
Yep.
Andy chiming in talking about that. He said that he remembers Roger, that's Chris Burns'
Dad, not me.
saying that he'd tear the car down piece by piece on the front straightaway and let everyone look at it. And honestly, talking about Greenville Pickens, I mean, I told you,
Yes,
if I was to go work there, I mean, those Hawk McCall cars, they'd work so damn hard, they'd run out of time in a week. Okay, I mean, we'd take them apart. We'd just start cutting the chassis up, make sure there's nothing in there, too. I mean, just whatever you got to do. If that's what it takes to get people to shut up, let's just make it happen. You know what I mean? I don't know if we go that far. It might be a little too much work for Performance Center.
That was a lot. Not me. How about Leroy? I mean,
yeah. Well, he needs something to do.
Gosh,
he's got way too much time to drink beer, so he needs something else to do. Fishing and drinking beer.
Got a nice pond down there.
Yes,
Damn.
yes, sir. He does, definitely, for sure.
Catches some awesome fish.
He does. He said I talked to him. He said he's got that thing all stocked up.
Right. Oh man, there's a little Franklin County conversation going on there. Y'all can talk about that.
I'm out of that.
But I got no place to talk about that. I don't know anything about Franklin County. So, anyway, let's move on.
Gosh, you hit the fence. You all right?
Let's move on to the next one. Langley Speedway. They've had a couple of races. I think the lower car counts. Late models for sure. I don't know about their other divisions, but we're primarily a late model. Website
platform
thing. I was really disappointed in what it looked like. And I haven't talked to anybody that was there. Thursday it didn't look like they had a very good crowd. I was disappointed in that. That's probably due to Virginia Motor Speedway having the Tony Stewart deal with the sprint cars, and I'm sure that hurt for sure. Also, I think where are you going to replace those guys with? They're not like in the hub where they're going to get these driver development programs,
right?
So where are you going to replace these guys with?
I don't know that you do,
right?
Which is problematic.
Right, I agree 100%. Greg Marlowe talking about. I'm gonna assume he's talking about Myrtle Beach here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. And
I know he wasn't talking about Franklin County.
I know he's not talking about Franklin County. But
he said they pay good.
Keep in mind that when you guys are listening, you're about a minute and a half to 2 minutes behind. So when you just put a comment and don't tell us the context of what you're saying, we have no idea what you're talking about unless we're still on the same subject. So
he's gonna come up here and beat you to
No. It's not just Greg. It's all the time I read comments and I go, "What the hell are they talking about? That was 5 minutes ago. I don't know." But so I'm not 100% sure. What he's referring to. Yeah, he'll tell me here in a couple minutes
when he drives up.
Right, he's got a key. So
yes, he does have a key.
We did lock the front door. We
did
are
not
in the
lock
hood.
it. We just closed it. We didn't lock it.
In a gated community.
We are in a gated compound right now.
This thing needs to be gated like a prison. Oh man, am I wrong?
I'm not going to comment.
Right.
I appreciate my neighbors.
But hopefully, Langley, Mason Dunn said that Stewart's deal plus Hamlin backing out really hurt the event, and I'm sure it did.
Oh, for sure. How could it not?
No doubt in my mind that really hurt a lot there, and hopefully that won't. Hopefully the car count they've had so far, maybe they'll start to pick up, and I'm sure the Hampton heat will be good. I mean, they usually are around the 30 mark, somewhere a little bit above that.
Do you think
the last couple of years?
Do you think the car counts are going to, number-wise, do you think that the car counts will ramp up as the season goes? We've seen some real weird.
Well, it's really weird.
Things, right?
Dominion knocks it out of the park with 24 cars, and they never expected it. There's no way in the world they expected that.
Right.
Yet, I don't know. I don't know. Other tracks, we're seeing much lower car counts than we expected to see there. So I don't, man. Guessing car counts is a really hard game. At the moment.
Really thought Greenville would. I thought that they would have a little bit of a problem for a week or two while they started that thing new, and then I thought that it would really take off.
Well, I guess we're about to see it take off then. I don't know.
I thought it would, but it doesn't show.
They've only had 2 or 3 races since then, so. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. And I'm not dogging.
I think they've had 11 and 10, something like that.
Yeah.
Off those 2 races, and Taylor Satterfield, of course, picking up the victory. With that. I like him. He's a good dude. He's a really, really good dude. Really, really entertaining. Funny guy to interview for sure. As are a lot of other guys in this deal. Mason Dunn says their car is still being built, finished to come to Langley. Hopefully it ramps up before the car race.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm sure the Cars Tour race will be good out there. They got 17 guys, I believe Chris said, that are registered for the year, and if all those guys stay
that'd
with
be great.
that's 17 cars that'll be there, and you gotta want to see those races
For
for
sure.
sure. Whether that's on Cars Tour, TV, or
I like
whether
Cars
that's going
Tour
to the
TV.
racetrack. I know you said you enjoy paying for it.
He got me today, $29.95. It actually billed my card. Yep. I was super pumped about that.
One racetrack, the next one in alphabetical order here. I think we're still
Sure.
on par here.
Go
Motor
ahead.
Mile Speedway. They open up next weekend.
Cooler Gate.
Well, at least they got them now.
Yep.
I don't know what's going to happen there. I think
Interesting. I wish them the best.
I think they've got a lot of cars registered, and then they've been doing a good job behind the scenes. I think, I think that their promotion really was really good right off in December and into January, and I think they've kind of fell flat here, and hopefully maybe they're going to pick it up next week and really run with it into their opener for local fans. I hope so, at least.
They had a car show, had cars out at the mall, stuff like that, so that always helps.
Yeah, I think the mall one got canceled, but they moved it to Pulaski Motor Mile or something.
Gotcha.
But they're doing more than they've been doing to try to bring people in, and that's always a good thing. So Carteret's one of those tracks. Andy's on here talking about car count. Carteret's one of those tracks where I really thought that this year, man, they were going to be 12, 13, 14, 15 cars pretty steady, and it's just not. That's not been the case. Whether maybe in this instance from this past race, and it wasn't a points race, I don't believe. So hopefully that played a part. Maybe they'll be in that teen number.
I would agree with that. I think the one thing that I thought about this the other day. The one thing I think that we don't think about is, the Cars Tour should technically really be pretty good off the beginning, because 95% of the people do it full time. 90%.
Sure.
90%. So I can tell you that in August, most of my full-time employed teams order their cars.
Right.
August, September, right? So
sure.
The interesting part is the guy that races at Dominion, he doesn't do it full-time, so he's just kind of getting going right now. Or, I've heard more from
you're saying they're a little bit of a late starter.
Well, I've heard more from the Dominion guy in the last 2 weeks than I heard all winter. You heard nothing from them all winter. You heard from Cars Tour guys and people that have employees that were, trying to keep stuff in front, and they're building new cars constantly, so they're revolving things through. And, we just really haven't seen the guy that's the non-full-time traditional racer.
Right.
That maybe it's a dad and a son that they work on their own stuff, or there's a bunch of different avenues, but I do believe that racer comes a little bit behind because he's still working. He doesn't really have time to, most of them own their own business or do, whatever.
Right.
So I do think these others you might see inflate, even Hickory to a point. Some guys, I'm trying to missed a couple, but I'm gonna get out there here in a few. So I think you'll see some
and some
guys that make a difference. Kyle Manch, some of those guys.
Some guys nowadays, and I've found this to be the case with a lot of racers. They I'm gonna miss first couple races. I don't want to get
everything.
Points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that too. The first race, I ain't going to that first race.
Before the first race at Hickory, that was we ask a lot of people, a lot of different things, and that was kind of the big thing. I don't want to go the first week and get destroyed.
Right.
I can't get destroyed the first week, and
I agree. I agree with you 100%.
So I think you'll see the Cars Tour go the other direction. I doubt people are like, hey.
Well, of course they're gonna. They got nowhere to go but down.
They're tailing the other way, where I think you'll see the local tracks that maybe didn't get that. Some of the people that fall by the wayside out of the points, and for good reason. I think everybody should set out to be able to win, the Cars Tour deal. But then I also see some people that maybe shouldn't do those races that you're going to see kind of drop back and punt. And I think it's a good way to evaluate your program over the first 3 or 4 weeks.
No doubt about that.
They got a bunch of races. You can get a good evaluation of should we continue with this whole thing or not.
For sure. Before I move off of Motor Mile, I do expect that their limiteds, their super streets, and their mod 4s are going to be banging.
Yeah, their limiteds is always good though, right?
Yeah, their limiteds are usually really good. And I think they're
I'm surprised more people don't adopt that rule set that they got there.
Yeah, I agree.
With the shock deal and the whole
Shock,
thing.
Just having the 603 engine.
Because traditionally that's been a really good deal for them over there.
Right.
So
for sure.
and steady. I mean, traditionally, that's probably one of the same that you could say that 10 years ago they probably got a similar gig, right? The
Probably.
Matt Taylors, the right?
Yeah,
I mean,
you just have different people.
right? But I mean,
Right.
it's still similar car count. I would imagine that deal
I think
always
this year
draw.
will be that. Yeah,
that deal always draw pretty good.
for sure. Myrtle Beach Speedway, we kind of talked about, that area.
Sure.
Best car counts. They're going to have the best car count this weekend.
Everybody
I'm
loves
sure,
the
by,
place, they
by
say.
a mile.
Right, the
Yeah,
racers
everybody
love it.
loves it. They pay good. They treat you good.
That's right.
No doubt about it.
Boom.
I mean, for sure, that's a great draw. And whatever they're doing, more racetracks need to
But
do
you
it.
know what?
I don't know what their recipe is.
I've been dying to know this, so I've been asking everybody that comes in what makes Myrtle Beach great. And you know the one thing that it seems to break down to that most of the people tell me is they don't feel like they got nickeled and dimed.
Right.
That at the end of the day, when you spend
I think he let you test for
20
free
minutes talking to them or
all that.
30 minutes talking to somebody that's going to make a 2.5 hour drive down there or a 3 hour drive, 4 hour drive, whatever, wherever we're coming from. The biggest thing that I can, through all my notes of keeping down and talking to people, is that they just don't feel like they get nickeled and dimed out of everything. They feel like once in a while they win.
Right.
They get some free testing. They get
Right.
to use
It's always
car,
the little
right?
things with the racers.
100%.
I mean, and I hate to use this as an example, but it's the only one I've got. Like, the guys who have came here that raced with me.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
They're like, man, we enjoyed it because it didn't
Look at
break the
Boo Boo.
bank.
Right.
We felt like we were going to get treated good. That's what the racers. That's all they want. They want to feel good about everything. You know what I mean?
Well, I just think, and I don't think they're looking for the world, to be real honest with you, but I think they would like to at least feel like they got one time.
Right.
You know what I mean? We got a good sale one time.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right, for sure.
They can't lose every single time.
No doubt. Shenandoah Speedway. They didn't have very good car count. I don't believe they had very good fan count.
I can't even help you there.
I don't think they have very good promotion going on. They're not, pushing it. I don't see it. You know what I mean? Whatever. They need to get to, and honestly, I mean, we've said it before. Every racetrack needs to get to work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If you run a racetrack today and you're still doing the same thing you were doing a year ago, you're already failing. I can just go ahead and tell you. And that's every business.
Performance Center, you're going to get to see some new stuff here pretty soon.
Yeah, it's been kind of lackluster since whoever did it last year did a really good job.
It's getting ready to get real. It's getting ready to get real. You're going to want to check their social out.
Shenandoah, post your results.
Yeah.
I don't
Post
give a crap
anything.
if it was 2 car. I don't care if a guy won and he was the only car. Just post your results. Nobody cares.
Real time.
I mean,
real time.
Yeah.
Don't wait till 4 days later and people have to
but
dig to find it.
I think what people don't understand is if you post it and you get people coming there, now it will automatically show up in their feed, so they'll see it more times.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10,
people say, well,
they will share that.
Right. I put it on Thursday. Even if they don't share it, right? Like, do this test. Go out, look at one person, search them out over the next 3 days, look at their social, and watch if their posts don't start showing up in your feed.
Right.
Watch that.
Right.
Try. Just go look at one person 3 days in a row, and then watch how much of their stuff shows up in your feed. It's giving you what you want. So if you're searching that out, and that's what I don't understand. Put the content out. Put the content out.
Yep.
Right.
Their website needs serious help.
Andy Marquis is firing.
We ain't even going to go there.
I mean, I go
Mason
there to look
Dunn.
for results, and it's 2017.
Well,
Come on.
I haven't said grind.
Yes, you did. You just did.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, just now.
Oh, sorry.
But Mason said, are you saying racetracks need to work their grind? Yes, I'm saying they do.
Yes.
I'm saying everybody needs to get to work for sure. And Mason, Mark Rogers does do a great job on the post race recaps. He learned he learned everything he knows from me.
Gosh, I knew that was coming.
He'll find that one funny anyway.
We do miss Mark Rogers.
We
over
do.
here
Yeah.
At Race 22.
I miss Mason too. Can't get him off him damn tires long enough.
Yeah,
to do
Mason's
something.
always good for a good laugh.
He threw me under the bus last year for Junior Motorsports. I mean, I guess that was a bigger gig. I don't know. Whatever. But Andy talking about it's amazing how many tracks still don't post results,
And
how
just
many
bragging because he's
don't
doing it
update
right.
websites at all, and he's 100% right though. I mean, there are so many racetracks that just drop the ball completely. And I'm not saying you have to do it the night of the race. Do it the next morning. You know what I mean? You don't have to be perfect.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Hold on. Wait,
I want them to do it the day of the race, but I get it.
Hold on. Wait.
Listen, hold on. When I run Franklin County, there was some times when I didn't get to it until the next day.
Okay,
It's
cool.
just because I'm doing it myself, and some of these racetracks are in the same boat.
Yeah,
so I get
I
it.
understand, but you can even take a picture of the finishing order. There has to
Yeah,
be a
there's
payout
a lot of
number,
folks that do
something.
that.
I mean, right there, give anything.
Yeah.
So it's
And that's
not
perfectly
about
fine.
right. Contextually, it's the same. I don't care if they type it or if I read the finishing order. I don't give a damn. I'm just saying, do it.
It's material. That's what's important. Material.
Well, it's just telling people what's going on. And I realize some racetracks think to themselves, well, if I tell people what's going on, they ain't going to buy a ticket. Listen, ain't nobody that gives a damn about coming to your race going to look at the results and go, well, I ain't got to go to the race no more because they posted the results.
Right. Who gives?
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Right.
Just go ahead and tell you. But Andy also talking about posting entry list for every race car number. I mean, if you take your hand off your back, I was getting ready to pat it.
Yeah,
myself.
no,
But,
he was doing
you got
it
that covered, so I'm gonna let you roll
He's
there.
in.
buddy.
You know what? That is truth, though. He does it for every
He
race.
does.
Makes my job
Hey,
extremely easy.
And no matter what the car count is, they can have 3 cars show up. It's on there. Just post it and roll on.
I wonder what it cost Andy to do that.
Would it cost Andy?
Yeah.
It don't cost Andy nothing.
It's free.
He gets paid to do that.
Yeah, but I don't even mean him. I just mean the tracks themselves. I mean, I'm not asking you to spend $12,000. I'm just asking you to put some content out there.
Right. Jordan here with us. He said that racetracks need to pay attention to social media algorithms, particularly Facebook. Most of them don't even know what the damn word
I was just getting ready to say,
means.
Jordan, you went big right there.
You went way over
yard.
their head. I can go ahead and tell you.
But they could reach out to Langley, and he would help them with it.
Absolutely. We will get them pointed in the right direction, whether that's just me trying to help you, tell you what to do, whatever, for free.
Right.
Free. I'm here to help you. You know what I mean?
Make
In
it
any
fun.
way, shape, or form.
That's what we're doing at Performance Center.
You know.
Got to see this. Right? We're making a fantasy factory up in here.
Speaking of
I
the
told
Facebook,
you about those stripper poles.
That's okay.
Speaking of the Facebook, when I go on Facebook, I set the racetracks. I star it for it to come up first in my feed, so that I'm always seeing what any racetrack post.
Right.
Because even if I don't follow every post they say, I want to see what they're doing.
Sure. I agree. And most of them, you only get notification about once a month. So.
Yeah, most of them is not very often.
It's really bad. Mason Dunn said that, when I ran FCS, he said I was desperate to get stuff done. He was correct about that. He said even one day I had him flag. He actually did a great job. And he's a man of many talents. Apparently, he's good at tires. If Junior Motorsports hired him, I'm going to say he's good at tires.
There you go.
If Race22 had him, well, he probably ain't that good. But, he was a good flagman for sure.
He was a good flagman.
Shane Laws, what's up, buddy? Good to hear from you.
Greg, was Greg calling Shane that or you?
Greg Marlowe, yes, you're a dumbass. Well, I'm gonna roll with that's me.
Right.
I
think that I was confused, but then the dumbass part led me right to you. I figure he got you.
I mean, that's the way it goes. Mason's trying to get a win sticker or something over here. I'm not sure what he's trying to Jew you out of over here. So. Stephen Dunn, we'll get to Orange County here in just a moment. I'm not sure where they're at on my list here, but South Boston. I'm about to skip them.
Yeah, wow.
Well,
Motor Mile was the last one. Who's next?
Right.
And who doesn't know their alphabet?
Oh, yes, this is amazing. Yeah. Hey, look, he's getting mad. I wish you could.
You should have done
once again.
The South Boston coming under B, under S.
Just stop.
Well, I went with the B. That's what the problem was. God, man.
Last name first, first name last.
Doc Love.
Right.
DJ Doc Love.
No, never a DJ.
Go with it.
That's a big time Doc.
Oh, big time Doc. What's up?
No.
There's a story behind it, but we won't tell it tonight.
No.
But Orange County, man, I don't know what's going to happen over there. I hope they're, I hope they've got their program, going in the right direction. Stephen, brought that up. I'm glad you did, because somehow they were not even on my list.
Wow.
Oh,
so I had done skipped over them and went to Shenandoah, and they were not on my list.
Speaking of irrelevant.
Well,
more than anything, I hope they get more than 3 races in this year. They had
really
none
struggled
last year.
Yeah, I think they got 5 or something in total last year, plus the tour races. But they definitely struggled with weather, and I know the track weeps and all that. But I think they probably need to put a little more effort into getting races in. And I'm almost never a fan of that. You know what I mean? I was an early caller.
We tried to go there and
races.
test. We tried to go there and test. They were like, Man, I think it's going to rain. I'm like, it's not raining. They're like, this track weeps real bad. I'm like, but it's not raining. Yeah, but we think it's going to rain. I'm like, all right, guess we won't go then. I mean, they're big on that weeping deal over there.
That's just crazy that they would turn down test money.
Oh, yeah.
My.
I mean, that's the best free money in racing right there. I mean, it's not good for the racing product in the long run, but it's the best free money for a racetrack for sure. But Orange County, man, I hope they have a good year.
I do too.
I think, I think they'll. I don't really know what to say about it. I have nothing. I literally have nothing to say because they literally
haven't said anything.
They literally don't do anything to have anything to say about so far. So hopefully they get. But their races are fantastic.
They are
man.
good.
Yeah.
The racing.
You're
there,
talking about a great racing place.
I don't care if there's 3
Man.
cars. The race is great.
Exactly.
And you can't say that, but about 3 or 4 racetracks.
I was going to say that's the place me and you argued about because I said, no, you got to have 15, 20, 30 cars to make a good race. And you said, I don't care. I'll take 3 there. And that's a great race.
Absolutely. Best race I ever seen at Franklin County was with 2 cars, okay?
Yep.
Best race I ever seen at Orange County had 7 cars in it last year. That's when Quapple lost at weight, led, and he come through the field and come all the way. It was a fantastic race, though. I mean, I don't care if he got disqualified. It don't make any difference to me.
The only thing I can say about Orange County is Josh Oakley is excited for the year. He told me for the cars race that he didn't get to run, that he was just so excited to be able to run for the championship this year.
Right. And he's a good shoe. He'll probably win a lot of races over there this year. I'm not sure who else is racing against him, so I really can't, discuss that. While we're on the social media thing, Gary, I can't see his name there. Cuthbertson. Gosh, man.
Wow, that's a tough one.
You got to change up some of those letters.
Especially early in the night like this. He hasn't been drinking yet.
Right. He said 311 post about every day. It might not be what you want to hear, but they do. 311's a dirt track for those of you who don't know, and that's an interesting place. That's all I got to say.
They do post every day, and
they do.
Every day.
He works the social media harder than anybody.
He does.
I mean,
come 7 or 8 o'clock at night, though, things get a little sketchy.
Yeah, that's sketchy. You got that part right. I don't know if Corey's still listening or not, but man, he can tell us all about how sketchy that is. Dave Pascal asking about how can someone on the East Coast start a version of Madeira racing MAV TV show division. Seems very successful. I mean, you've had this conversation. It's something that needs to happen.
Sure.
Somebody like a Orange County or a Shenandoah or somebody like that could take the reins and have a division like that. It's cheap. I mean, the way they got the rules set up,
there's going to have to be a racetrack that does it. I think
for sure.
Unless
I don't. Yes,
because me and you have talked about it, right? But it's very hard because we don't have the leverage of a racetrack, so it's hard for us to. I mean, we've talked about 18. We talked about 3 ways to start series before we came on the air today, right? But without the leverage of a racetrack, it's very difficult to be able to start something and go with it.
That was the U-car portion of our pre-show.
Yeah, I want to do that.
We were deep in the U-cars over here.
I would like to start a U-car. I'd like to start a U-car deal.
But Dave, somebody needs to do that. And I really, honestly, this area here, because of all the kids, would fit because you could do that junior division.
Sure.
You could and I know, the Southeast Limited's tried it. They didn't stick to one engine, which is really what they should have done here. If somebody goes with the 602, I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know why the 602 tour is not growing. I mean, I do have some thoughts, but I don't know why they're not growing. But to me, that's the best thing, that could happen is somebody build on that.
Which
because
602
it's a really cheap
tour?
Well, the 602 modifieds are growing.
Right.
The 602
I thought they were pretty
limiteds
stronger, right?
Are just seem to be stale. But
yeah, Corey said they put on a good show at Caraway, didn't he?
I mean,
you did an article about it today, didn't you?
I did not. Rob Staley did the article.
Okay.
I posted it.
I only read the highlights of it.
Yeah, well, obviously you didn't read who wrote it, but whatever.
I can't barely read, dude.
Well, you got a point there. You ain't very good at looking at pictures. I'll send you one. You go, what's this?
Well,
obviously.
Listen, you send me stuff from Virginia. Like, I don't know if it comes through. How far out in the
I'm not from West Virginia. Okay.
But you have dial-up or what? Because it takes 4 hours.
Wow.
If you would look, I'll show you any of the texts from Langley, and they basically say I couldn't send to you. I would love to have done that, but it's still downloading because he sent it 4 days ago.
Oh
and
my
then
gosh,
look at this
it really
one.
is.
Yeah, it's because
still
it says
downloading.
Is that the picture of the check I sent you?
I am too cheap to have good internet at my home. That's what it says right here.
Well, maybe that's a problem on from my phone, because every time I sent my brother something today, I blamed it on his phone. So.
Yeah, no, you were like cussing me, like, why didn't you respond? I'm like, well, I don't know. It's still downloading 4 days later. I don't know really what happened.
Yeah. Well,
Speaking of the internet, we have the best that our little podunk town has to offer.
Yeah, what do you guys like? Go to internet cafe?
We're on.
Like put quarters in there and
listen. We're on.
Like, is it a thing or what?
We're on super dial-up.
Yeah, good God
It's
Almighty.
like the next.
So you
big
no longer
wave.
have to climb the pole.
Hey, but we do have fiber internet coming next year.
Yeah.
So we'll have super fast internet.
You'll be moved by then.
Probably.
That's actually
There
a
you go.
really good possibility. Peyton Sayers chiming in about Motor Mile says he doesn't know if it's still happening, but they were planning to have a race on Fox 21-27. It'd be a really good deal. Andy also chimed in a minute ago. I lost his comment here, but he said that Dylan puts their races on the next day on their local Fox affiliate, I believe. And I think anybody who's doing that, I mean, you got to do something. You got to get the word
It
out.
used to be a big tradition at Motor Mile over the long
with
time.
their TV race on Channel 7. Yeah, that was a big deal.
Yep.
Now they're moving over to the Franklin County Speedway Network.
But my question is, right, like, why would you see?
Nobody will get that except
That was really bad.
That was bad.
There'll be on 3 people that'll get that joke, but I laughed, so it was good. But Andy said that was fiber serial internet that you were getting. Oh man!
Wow!
I think we got derailed. What racetrack were we on? Because I don't know my alphabet.
You're
clearly.
the guy with the thing.
Orange County was last. You had to go back to Orange County.
Well, I got to skip Shenandoah since I've already been there.
Oh wow!
But South Boston. I mean, what do you say about South Boston? They got the best thing going right now.
I agree.
Their car count ain't as big as Dominion or Myrtle Beach, but I mean, they've got the 3 guys that they've got battling for the win, every week, and who knows who else will be in that mix.
But they have that early drama, so that's going to bring folks out.
They got
I have a question. Do you think that if you take those 3 guys and you put them at Greenville Pickens, that they fill the place?
No, probably not.
I don't think so either.
But I mean,
I think those guys are in that area
will they bring a few
and
more
warriors
people
of
out
that
there?
time. Yeah.
Will they bring a few more people?
I agree, but I still think like you could bait those 3 guys into going to Greenville.
I mean,
or Ace or wherever, and I don't think it blows up like South Boston's blown up.
I mean, you think about. We'll just go ahead and get that one out of the way. Mason Dunn said that South Boston offers free ride-alongs. Yeah, well, good joke.
Doc wrote it and gave it to him.
But there's no passengers on the 5 anymore.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a good picture.
That was awesome.
I did like that picture. I got to give him. That was a classy way. It was funny. I liked it. I thought that was good.
He said he didn't know about it. He said his crew did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, of course, that's what I'd say too.
Sure.
As far as South Boston goes, though, I mean, they do have the best thing going, man. They really do. I mean, that's, I'd like to go to Anderson, but the way the weather is this weekend, I just don't know if I'm going to try to attempt that. So I may end up at South Boston. I mean, that's not a bad second choice.
I'd like to go to Kingsport.
Kingsport would be great if it stopped raining on Fridays. I mean, that's why I didn't go last Friday, because I thought for sure it was going to rain it out, and it didn't. So, whatever. I mean, it's just the way it goes. Daryl Carver joining us on there. He races at Orange County, so maybe he can tell us who's racing at Orange County or what's going on over there. Be great to know. Southern National Motorsports Park, next in my alphabet, anyways. But they open up this weekend, looking like they're going to have a pretty good field of limiteds. I don't know why Mike's got them listed as late model stock cars, because they are not.
Because he's Mike Diaz, man.
It's Diaz, right?
He can do whatever he wants.
He can definitely do whatever he wants. But I think they'll have a good turnout of limiteds. I don't know what their other divisions will look like, but they should have a good turnout there. In that division, I seen Boo Boo was going to race there,
right?
So that'll be exciting.
Listen,
Boo Boo brings the excitement with him. He's going to and I think he's going to Bowman Gray next week.
He called me today for a gear for Bowman Gray.
Nice.
So he's going. He called. He's like, you have a gear for there? I was like, oh, it's getting real now. He's going to do it.
And in my alphabet, I don't have Bowman Gray listed. Of course, they're not a late model stock track.
Right.
That's the main reason.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, it
looks to me like your notes have a lot of holes in them. That's what it looks like.
So let me go back and add that here.
Start over.
I'm gonna keep this one. I mean, I don't think I had Dillon Motor Speedway in here either.
Don't you remember? He knows the alphabet.
He
He
does,
told
yeah.
us.
Yeah, he told us he did.
I said I thought I did.
Right, you thought
I
you
mean,
did.
she only knew A, so
Right.
I mean, there you go. I mean,
It's a good thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
At least she got one. But I mean, Bowman Gray, we had a preview. Justin Mincy did on Race 22 today. Really good.
Pretty sure Corey will
piece.
be there.
Yeah.
I saw he was watching before he gave us.
I think he's
the
taking
middle
Bobby
finger in the
McCarty
chat.
with him.
Is he?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Because, Bobby, he should take Mike Jones with him, too. Because, he loves modifieds. So he go over and see some modifieds racing. So, Alex Miller says he'll be racing at Kingsport tomorrow. Like to meet us. Roger ain't going. We can go ahead and let you know. And it's going to rain, too.
It's Good
so
Friday, man.
I don't know. Yeah. That's a good excuse.
My dad's coming, actually. This is a bad deal.
That's a great excuse.
No, my dad is coming. I got to hide, clean up everything, make it look like I'm an adult. Yeah. He doesn't tell me when he's coming until like a couple days before, so you don't have time to prepare. It's a terrible deal.
Mason Dunn with some suggestions for Boo Boo a new shirt here.
Wow.
Oh, man. Gary chiming back in. I'm not trying your last name again, but he says Bobo needs a pacifier. I don't know if he's talking about Boo Boo or Bobo Brown.
Either way.
Whatever. You can go with either one, I guess. Southside Speedway. Man, that place just kind of rolls on its own.
Does its own deal.
Thing, and they had pretty decent car count, and everything seems to be going pretty good over there. I don't know what the crowds have looked like, but Southside's great, man. I did see somebody posted a story. I need to share that on Race 22's Facebook. Somebody posted a story about the history of the place and all that, and that's really cool. Next on my alphabet's Tri-County, and we ain't going back over that one again. And I guess we're at Wake County. I hope I didn't miss anybody else. But Wake County, I believe, opens next Friday.
Yep.
They were supposed to open this past Friday, got rained out.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think they're glad that they got called that race early because it sounded like some torrential storms came through there later on in the evening. And Wake County is another one of those places. It just kind of does its own thing, has its own kind of set of rules.
It's interesting how that works, huh? It's kind of like its own little ecosystem.
And-
a few different ones, right?
And have you noticed that, like, the ones that do that, they're kind of successful?
Yeah.
So, all these other guys are trying to do what everybody else is trying to do, and they're not really all that successful. So
Yeah, but if you look at Hickory in years past, it's really kind of had its own infrastructure of similar people that you just kind of chug along with it.
Right.
I mean, it's, I think that's the way it works.
I agree. Daryl Carver talking about Orange County's first race. Yep, it is next Saturday. Wish it wasn't on the same day as Motor Miles opener. I got to go to Motor Miles opener, so gotta work on that. Hopefully, I'll make it to Orange County soon. I'm looking forward to. I don't know what you're watching out here.
There's lights out there. You see them?
Well, that's because you're in the hood.
Lights and horns. And
Right.
Police cars and
Fire
guns
trucks
and. I mean, I don't know what else.
I know I can outrun you and Doc, so I got a shot.
I don't know if you could outrun me.
I would trip you.
Oh,
I mean, I'll just go ahead and say.
we need to stay.
I play
I'll just go ahead and
street.
say.
I'm throwing your cane down in front of you and tripping you into him, and I'm running. That's it. That's all that's going to happen.
Man, you put a bowl of biscuits and gravy at the other end of the track.
Day.
Might have a miracle.
Wow. Hey, you got any knowledge on this, Roger? Jeff Elliott wants to know what caused Metro Metrolina Speedway to close. I knew you didn't. That's why
I got nothing. We have to ask Tom.
Well, yeah.
Tom,
his family
Tom
owns the
had,
property, or you
I don't
used to
think
own the
anymore.
property?
Right? Yeah, I don't think anymore.
So yeah,
Tom Pistone's family, I think, had something to do with that.
Yeah, David Lee Birch jumping in. Dave's barbecue, Smoky Dave's.
Smoky Dave's.
Good stuff,
Be
man.
nice to get some of that over here.
I wish he'd quit posting those videos though. It makes me want to take a trip down there to get some of
Why
them.
can't he bring it over? Maybe be
I don't know.
involved in the show.
David, let's make it happen.
Let's make that happen.
We're only in Statesville. It's not that far away. Yeah, he said biscuits and gravy. What about barbecue? We're waiting on your barbecue. You set that out.
That would work too.
We'll make a run down that one for sure.
Yeah.
Jeff Elliott says thanks for a fun and informative show. I don't know about informative.
Yeah,
but
if you
it's been
learned
fun.
anything, you're in
It's fun,
trouble.
if nothing else.
I mean, we've had a good time for sure. But a lot of lot of comments coming in tonight. I appreciate you guys. And if you got any other questions,
That's what makes me the most happy. Yeah, I like it. I like the interaction.
Send it soon because in the next 15 minutes or so we'll be bouncing out of here. So
Yeah, for sure, we have to get out of here before it gets completely dark.
Right.
Because then it's a bad deal.
That's why they only do business here in the day.
In the daytime, right? You don't want to be in here late. Plus, we got ghosts.
Well, I was wondering if that's why you were looking at the wall over here a minute ago. Because
No.
I looked back at what you were looking at, and I couldn't find
I
nothing.
ordered some fenders from 5-Star, and I didn't quite get everything that I needed.
Well, I think Akinori got a couple of them over.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
I think he went ahead and got what he needed over there. You'll bill him later.
I've billed him already. I saw his credit card receipt in there on my desk. It's nice.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
He takes care of his own bills himself.
Jeff Elliott said, never said what kind of informative. So, fair enough.
Good point.
Fair enough. And David Birch says that he's on it. Smokey Dave is on it. So
yeah, that would be awesome.
Nice.
Hopefully
he does know who he's cooking for, though, right?
Yeah, you got to bring a lot.
We're a banquet by ourselves.
Wow. Wow.
Bring some mac and cheese and some of that banana pudding, and we're good.
Yeah.
Say pudding one more time.
No.
That was awesome. Say pudding one more time.
No.
Jesus.
That was funny. I liked it. That was good stuff.
Only you, Roger.
I love her to
Only
death.
you.
She's the only one I don't get to yell at, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I can't believe she forgot your camera.
I know.
I mean, that was.
And I didn't yell because she's cool.
It's
I
because
would have freaked
Langley
out
was
on.
rushing me out the door. He said, "You do this every
Right,
week.
it's
And you
always
act like we never go anywhere."
Let's just go ahead and tell the truth. I say, are you in super sloth mode today? Because I mean, this is. I mean, it's a fact.
That is true. That's what he said.
Steven says that Akinori has first dibs on parts.
Right.
So.
Steven's the man.
Oh man. I'm trying to.
Jeff Elliott's not drunk, he said.
See, Langley, did I say you were drunk last week? I might have. I don't. You never know what I'm going to say.
It's a 50-50 shot, you know.
I mean, it's a fit. I mean, I got one-liners for everybody on everything.
And they get them too.
Yeah, they do. They do. I mean, I hadn't had to use any on Mason tonight. I don't think.
No. Well, he's been giving you good information, so you've been letting him go.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
As a top provider.
He
sounds motivated. He's on it.
Is Mason a top fan?
I don't know.
Because if not,
I don't understand
get him his
that.
badge.
Can
He
you
needs a
explain
badge.
that?
Listen, he does not have a badge. Mason, how are you not a top fan?
He has no top fan.
Hey, Daryl Carver is a top fan though. And,
Hey, it come
we
up with
appreciate
Greg
that.
Marlowe
And
earlier
so
that he was a top commenter.
top commenter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't know what the hell he's talking about.
And the number one comment is he's watching.
Oh man, yeah.
You know.
Josh Goble, I
forgot
assume
about
you.
that.
Yeah. God, I missed that one.
I'm sorry, Josh. I didn't mean to laugh.
Hey, dude sent me a message yesterday, and he said I got to 37 and stopped counting.
Oh my gosh, that was good. I forgot about that. That was a good one.
I don't know why Chris Regal ain't on here for us to really give him a hard time. Oh man,
He probably ain't gonna come back on after y'all were so mean last week.
Listen, we
we had to
were
call
mean.
him from a different Skype number next time.
Listen, we were mean. That was just a lot, right? Like, how was that mean? It was
pretty epic.
He was getting ready to go out of the country.
I mean, it
He had
wasn't
a lot
just
on his
us
mind.
either.
Yeah,
We're not the only ones that noticed.
No, well, I did notice, but I wasn't gonna say anything. But they laid him out pretty good. David West,
the live chat exploded.
David West laid him out pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not
David
sure
West
that
still
he's
hasn't
not
woke
still
up yet.
hungover.
Yeah, exactly.
The
I haven't seen him
drinking
on here
game.
tonight at all. So he's
Someone could dial 911.
Nobody must have called.
That
for
was
him, for
great.
sure.
That was great.
That was funny.
Jacob Porter, glad to have you on, man. Man, just good times. I'm sure I'll see you at Motor Mile probably coming up.
You're not going anywhere.
You know, I was at.
What are you talking about?
You're not
I was
going
at.
nowhere
I've
this
been to
week.
more races this
Listen,
year than you have
pick
in
on
5.
me all you want. I don't care. I'm telling you, you're not going nowhere.
Just saying. Well, I may not this weekend.
Speaking of.
See what I mean?
Depends on
See
the
what I
rain.
mean?
Speaking of Jacob Porter, you know, I'm walking down pit road at Orange County and I hear this guy say, "Hello, Kimberly," and I turn around. He's like at every race I go to.
Is he getting to be like Ronnie? Just shows up everywhere.
Not that bad yet.
Yeah, Ronnie, the dude, super fan. I can't remember his last name. Maybe Andy will tell me what it is, but he, that dude is at every race. And Kim goes.
Let me tell you a
here
story. Last Thursday, Langley was at home watching the grassroots racing, and I had decided to take my mom to a local baseball game at Salem Red Sox.
Well, let's be clear. You took your dog. Your mom just happened to go with you.
Okay,
you did take the dog. I saw you posted
it
a
was
picture
Bark
on
in the
Facebook.
park.
Bark in the park.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get her acclimated to people. She's pretty young, and
Your mom?
her too.
See, come on, man.
Her too. She gets a little anxiety, you
Nobody
know, when we get her
needed
out
that.
around people.
We don't keep her tied up
She's
in the
my buddy
backyard.
on Facebook. I love Sue. I
Okay,
love
get to the point.
She's listening. She tells me, she's like, "We got to get out of here before this thing gets over, so we can get out before all these people bombard us." So we get up to walk out, and Lo and behold, there's Ronnie standing right behind us.
Dudes at every race and baseball game.
Wow.
45 minutes later, we're still standing there talking to him, trying
Game's
to get
over,
out.
everybody's done left.
We were one of the last ones out of the gate.
Starting to reach in your purse for that taser. Like, man, I don't know, right? Like, I don't know.
Oh, man. Ronnie is awesome, though, man. If short track racing had more of that guy, gosh. And they must. Actually, I'd say more of him, but there's 37 of him already. He's been cloned or something.
Right.
I see him everywhere. I mean, and people tell me all the time. I went to a race one time. This is no lie. I told this guy, I said, yeah, we were talking, and I said, yeah, I seen Ronnie at the race tonight. He said, you didn't see Ronnie at the race tonight. I said, well, how you figure? He said, well, I was at such and such race, and I seen him over there.
Gosh.
Well, all right, man. I don't really know how that would happen, but I think one of us was mistaken, and I'm going to go with it.
Or drunk.
Well, I wasn't drunk for sure, so it was him. But Steven says that David is alive, and he came to Langley with them last Thursday. So he is still alive. He just decided to check out on the radio show tonight. And Stephen Dunn talking about Chris Regal being in Thailand right now.
You know,
must be nice.
Talking about Ronnie, you know,
Can't hide money.
He came to Franklin County when we had the track, and he told me that a car he had 460,000 miles that he only used to go to racetracks.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's probably still driving the same car right now.
No, he had to get a new one.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Well,
he said, but he
a
wasn't
new one
playing.
like Corey got, or a new one?
I'm gonna guess his was quite older than Corey's.
Okay.
Yeah, it's older.
Hey, speaking of Corey, we got to get this in here before we get.
This is not. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Did you see his big announcement last week?
I didn't know which one.
You didn't see his big announcement last
Which
week?
one?
He's going to run in the enduro race.
Oh,
at Caraway.
No, wait, he called me. He called me. Yes, he called me, and he said,
"Are you sponsoring him?"
No, he didn't ever ask me for a sponsor. He said, "Hey,
well, that was stupid."
I can't sponsor. Look, there's no cars in here. I can't sponsor anybody. He
said
he bought this BMW
right
from this guy that he traded in or something, traded him for something or gave him money for or something.
He got it
I don't
really
know.
cheap. The dude was going to scrap it.
Yep, and I thought it was awesome. I'm proud of him for doing it. He was telling me about how
let's not get ahead of being
he doesn't
proud
want to
of him.
lose it
because he may or may not race.
He said if they win. He was
let's just go there.
Right, that's what I did.
That's
he said
not gonna happen.
when they win, they could claim it from me. I'm like, dude, you ain't gonna win. He's like, well, there's that. There's that.
You should have just went with it, dude. You're not even gonna race.
I'd like to check
let's
that
be
out.
honest.
He'll do it.
I don't think he will.
I think that there's enough people that like Lloyd that will hold him.
Oh, yeah.
There's sponsorship right there. Lloyd's been trying to spend money, put him in a car.
If you win, Lloyd will give you another $500.
Right, like nobody needs to sponsor. Just let him go and run it and see what he does. I think we should.
We need to crew it.
Spray? No.
We need to be his crew.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to
gain a chance of running.
Right, like what are we going to do?
Supervise or something.
Come on, Doc.
I'm gonna shoot some video.
There you go.
When is this race? Anybody know?
I have no idea.
May 11th or something like that.
I think you should do it.
Yeah, as ancient as your phone is, we probably get to it next week's show.
Put my antennas up.
Cool.
Have you flipped it open yet? I mean, jeez.
Flip phone.
Wow. While he looks that up, we'll start to wrap things up here. So I take it you're going nowhere this weekend. Easter, you got your dad coming down, you said?
Yep, my dad's coming down. Could be big.
Could be big. And
He's the
what
only
kind
man
of way?
I'm afraid of in life.
So you're going to get your ass whipped?
Probably. It's kind of a standard gig. Yeah. Tell me what he did wrong, all those things. You know the drill.
Corey's out already. Sam Price said that you can't run an import. So,
I
mean, dude, Sam, you might as well let him race, okay?
Right.
Y'all go ahead and just talk him.
I think that's terrible.
May 11th. That race is May 11th.
Can we not get an amendment?
Just let him run.
One time?
Just let him go.
Darren Hackett, if you're listening, let's just go ahead and get him in there.
Let's get him in.
I see the world champ.
I mean, add some, just like at other tracks, it's got a different car. Add some weight.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, we just put 25 pounds on his right side.
I see the world champion and drama queen Robert Arch just joined us. Did you see his video from Carteret? Him arguing with another guy.
I saw that. Yeah, interesting.
Sounded like two screaming little girls. That's all I can
tell
you.
Wow, I didn't know about that. I wouldn't have gone that far with it.
That's what the comments said. I didn't listen.
I did see the comments, but it looked like they were angry.
He said we made him internet famous for weeks. I told Andy this the other day, and I swear this is the truth. If I get another racetrack, there's like 3 or 4 guys, and they're all UCAR guys.
Right. This is why I told you earlier.
100%.
I'm going to get you on my side.
We started a UCAR series. Robert Arch is in.
Right.
He is one of our drivers.
I completely think that's where it's at.
Sure. Dude is entertaining no matter what. I mean, this dude's entertaining when he hasn't done anything. He just gets out of the car and talks ignorant stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's great, man. It's great. But I'm telling you, if I had another racetrack, I'd bring him in as the world champion and put him in a car and just
go at it, boys.
Oh, and they'd kill him.
Right.
I mean, they'd kill him. Of course. I mean, he'd kill him back. I mean, I'd go ahead and tell you that. Oh man, Robert Arch said I
he's
had
dogging you.
I haven't ate a cheeseburger in months, man. What's wrong? What's wrong? I mean, come on. You ain't got nothing better
But
than
you
that.
don't even eat fish, you said.
I don't eat
So
fish.
what do you eat then?
Steak.
Steak.
I was gonna say I know.
Yeah.
Chicken.
For sure. I mean.
I don't mind a good hamburger.
Yeah, they're good.
Especially the way I'm doing. Trust me.
We wouldn't know because you never brought it in.
I will.
One way or the other.
I mean, you tell the man you got a propane tank. Oh, we can't do that.
We don't do propane.
So listen, we've been cleaning up the shop. I got some propane tanks. I'm like, we'll use propane. Doc,
Nope.
Eyes rolled back in his head.
Yep.
And little red circles. We will not use propane.
No propane.
I was like, wow, all right.
Robert Arch asked, when does he get to come on the show? And after that comment, never.
Oh, is that? Wait a minute.
done.
He was
Is that how you get
before
up?
that.
Why don't you eat a cheeseburger, man? I gotta go. See you guys.
I mean, you're out, man. I mean, what the hell? Oh, man. I mean, I had to run my mouth to somebody yesterday because of that. But,
Did you?
Yeah.
Things happen.
Good old Franklin County idiot. But,
what? Funny times.
See, Tom Pistone joined us finally. We get to the end of the show and he jumps on.
He's
we were
always
talking about him, earlier.
Giving him props.
Not in any good ways, but
For sure.
All right, I guess we're gonna wrap this party up.
All right,
You got anything else?
No. Have a happy Easter. Oh, you know what? I would like to give a shout out. The end of for that Jonathan Outlaw Morrison passed away a couple days ago.
Right.
Keep his family. He worked here at Performance Center for a long time, and I want to keep his family. He's got 2 young boys and a wife, and just keep them in your prayers and stuff. And they were racers. They were lifelong racers, and truly kind of one of the staples of the sport. I mean, that guy, when he had been around a long time when I came, and then he was around quite a while longer before going to GMS. So, I just want people to remember him and remember the good things that he did for people, and try to pass a little bit of that on, and have a happy Easter. Enjoy your family time.
Yep.
Enjoy wherever you're racing.
I'm sure there'll be, most of the people on here probably be somewhere racing this weekend, but definitely, thoughts and prayers with Outlaw's family. He's a good dude. He's
good dude.
Back when Tom owned the business, him and Tom are probably the only 2 guys I talked to when I come in here.
Yeah, for sure.
And Tom said that he was with him 13 plus years.
Yeah.
So that's a long time for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he was a staple when I first bought Performance Center, and it was just a LTO brand, and before Greg, came here, and he was a staple. He was intricate for me because he knew the whole business.
Right.
And, we had kind of different ways of doing business, but he always tried to get me to kind of understand the late model stock car way, and, this isn't a cup car, and blah, 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 blah. And just really a polite guy. I mean, just a good dude, good family, good everything. And I hated to see what happened. But, I mean, I think, you and I, Langley, talked about it yesterday. I think the brief thing is just, to make sure that in the short term, these people have lots of support. And a lot of times, I think as we continue to go on for months, they end up in the backs of our minds. And, I want to try to keep that in the forefront. Them young boys need, that their dad loved racing. And if we crap on this whole thing and it turns into not be nothing, then how much of it was in vain? You know what I mean? So that's it. That's all I got. I'm off my soapbox now, but I appreciate everybody that was willing to work with us at Performance Center. We closed yesterday, and we caught a little bit of guff until people kind of figure out why we did it. And and I appreciate all the people for working with us and giving our guys the time to be able to go be with their friends and family. So I appreciate it.
Definitely. I got nothing to follow that up, so it's all you, Doc.
All right, if you're looking for a place to get your race on, you can Friday night, April 19th. We got Super Trucks. That ought to be an exciting race for sure. You got the Kingsport Speedway Friday night, late model stock cars racing. Southside Speedway is coming Friday night. Tomorrow night, late model stock cars. Saturday, the 20th, Bowman Gray opening night, 71st season there. Got the modified 200 plus the sportsman cars. They look like late models, so they ought to put on a pretty good show. They always do. Dominion Raceway, late model stock cars are racing Saturday. Hickory Motor Speedway got the Pass super late models. The Easter Bunny 150. That ought to be a fantastic show. Plus, they got mini stocks running with them. Motor Mile Speedway, open practice to get ready for their season. Myrtle Beach Speedway, late model stocks. Expect a full field there. So if you're in the area, be sure and check them out. South Boston Speedway, a 100 lapper for the late model stock cars. So they ought to get back in action up there. Southern National Motorsports Park, Twin. They don't really run late models. It's limited, correct? Twin 40s coming up this weekend, so excited to see them get to race on. We talked about Wake County not racing tomorrow night. Their opening season is next Friday, so we'll be talking about that next week. So once again, appreciate everybody, their thoughts and prayers for the young man lost way too soon. Our thoughts are with the family for sure.